The things that Tao Peixing helped to send had arrived, so she sent Lu Chongjing to get them. So, it is better to return at the right time than to return early so that you can get things done as soon as you return. Lu Chongjing borrowed a car from the army and went to the train station to find someone to pick up his things. Tao Peixing looked carefree, but he was also a careful person. He was afraid that they would dismantle the things and Su Mo and the other women would not know how to put them back together, so he specifically told his relatives to put the things back together after arriving in Yangqing before giving them back to them. When Lu Chongjing arrived, Comrade Tao and his colleague were assembling the equipment with sweat all over their foreheads. Lu Chongjing thanked them, gave each of them 2 packs of cigarettes, and invited them to a state-owned restaurant for a meal before returning. The next day, the family of 4 packed up and prepared to go to Guangxi province. Originally, Su Mo wanted to take Lu Xiaolan to visit Guangxi province, but Lu Xiaolan refused. Had agreed to go before because she was worried that it would be inconvenient for her third sister-in-law to take care of 2 children alone on the train. Now that her third brother is back, she decided not to join in the fun. Not only can she look after the house, she can also turn over the land in front of the door and plant vegetables. Any amount of help is helpful. In the city, you have to buy everything, and everything costs money. Seeing that Lu Xiaolan insisted, Su Mo did not force it. Before leaving, Su Mo called Su Tingda first. When Su Tingda learned that Su Mo was going to bring the child over, he was very happy. On the way, Su Mo coaxed Lele again before he agreed to take the car again. The family of 4 arrived in Guangxi province at around 8 o'clock in the evening. Su Yuan came to pick them up. Seeing the 2 little ones being so affectionate, he kept asking people if they remembered their uncle. Lele naturally didn't remember, but Anan did remember, but he was aloof and didn't like to talk. When they arrived at the Su's house, the whole family was waiting at home. Fu Manhua was afraid that they were hungry, so she prepared a midnight snack for them. The first time Su Mo met Su Yichen's lover Zhou Huiqin, she was much prettier in person than in the photo. She had shoulder-length hair and looked heroic and had a strong aura. She was a perfect match for Su Yichen. Sister-in-law, I finally meet you. Su Mo smiled and took out the gift she picked for Zhou Huiqin at Yangqing department store from her luggage bag. I saw a fountain pen in a department store a few days ago, and I think it's perfect for my sister-in-law. Do you like it? Zhou Huiqin took it with a smile, opened it, and saw that it was a rare porcelain white color, which was obviously designed specially for women. She fell in love with it at first sight. I like it very much. I'm sorry to have cost you money, Xiaoma.
It looked like it was not cheap.
Su Mo waved her hand, as long as sister-in-law likes it. Oh, it's only your sister-in-law's? Your uncle has none? Su Tingda joked. How could I forget you, uncle? I just fell in love with my sister-in-law the first time I saw her, so I overlooked you, uncle. Sumo's words were so sweet that Zhou Huiqin secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Her husband's family all valued this niece very much. Zhou Huiqin was also afraid that she would give people a bad first impression, so she was always a little nervous. The fact that Su Mo liked her made her feel relieved. Su Mo took out the gifts for other people. Su Tingda's was a pair of leather shoes, Fu Manhua's was a coat. Su Yichen's was also a fountain pen, and the style was the same as Zhou Huiqin's. Su Yuan's was also a pair of leather shoes, but the style looked younger than Su Tingda's. Everyone was chatting and laughing. Fu Manhua had already heated up the midnight snacks and called everyone to come over and eat. Eating supper, Su Tingda glanced at Lu Chongjing from time to time. I muttered to myself, didn't Xiaoma say that she married him because he was handsome? The photos she sent me before looked okay, but why does he look a little ugly in person? Lu Chongjing naturally felt Su Tingda's gaze and thought that he was testing him, so he sat even straighter. Several men were in the army. After eating, they went to the side to talk about things in the army. Su Mabian, Fu Manhua, and Zhou Huiqin were chatting and looking after the children. The 2 children are so cute that both of them love them very much and are reluctant to let go after holding them. And is aloof. She is actually a chubby pink ball, the type that people find particularly cute at first sight. Lele is even more amazing. Not only is she cute, but her little mouth is also very chattering. She made Fu Manhua so happy that she asked Su Emo to let Lele stay in Guangxi to accompany her. Sister-in-law, I brought all the clothes that the two children wore when they were little. They're still very new and can be given to the children to wear when the time comes.
Su Emo said.
The two children grew up quickly, and their previous clothes could no longer fit them after being worn a few times. Su Emo did not take them apart and make new ones, but thought of bringing them to Zhuohuiqin so that she could wear them after her child was born. Why bring it here? Keep it for yourself to wear in the future. Fu Manhua said. The children born now are cute, so let's have more. The Su family has never had many descendants, and it would be great if their generation could make it prosperous. When you have them in the future, just give me the ones your nephews and nieces have worn.
Shomoshmail.
In fact, as her powers were upgraded, she had a feeling that it would be difficult for her to get pregnant again. Fortunately, she got pregnant early. If it was later, she would have faced the problem of fertility difficulties. At night, before going to bed, Lu Chongjing asked Su Emo, "Wife, does uncle have any opinion about me? I always feel that he looks at me in a weird way." At first, Lu Chongjing thought that the other party wanted to test him, but it turned out not to be the case. The way Su Tingda looked at him was hard to describe, sometimes with admiration and sometimes with disgust. No?
Shumo laughed.
Maybe he doesn't like you because you married his beautiful niece. Lu Chongjing was about to refute, but then he thought, if someone wanted to marry his daughter in the future. He immediately understood. Su Emo and her family stayed in Guangxi province for 2 days and returned to Guangzhou on the 23rd. On the 24th, Lu Chongjing accompanied Su Emo to the exam site to check it out first, so as not to go to the wrong place the next day. Then the two of them went to the vicinity of Su Tingqian's school to see if there were any suitable houses nearby. During this period, although houses could not be traded openly, they could still be bought and sold privately as long as both parties agreed. However, if there were any disputes, they could only be resolved privately and there were no rules or regulations to follow. The two of them walked around but didn't find anything suitable. At noon, the two went to school and had lunch with their parents before going home. On the way, Su Emo said to Lu Chongjing, "I am confident that I can pass the exam for this job. If I don't need the quota, you can discuss with the army and see if you can assign the job to Xiaolan. What about the two children? This should be no problem, but who will take care of the children?" He had previously thought that his wife wanted his father-in-law and mother-in-law to help look after the children, but now that Xiaolan has come to help, he thinks it is a great idea. While they are away, they don't have to worry about the children at home all the time. "Wife, we pay Xiaolan a salary every month, and it's the same. It's different. Not to mention that Xiaolan may not accept our money. Even if she is willing to accept it, the feeling is different. I've seen employees in the canteen of the family compound can bring their children to work. Can you arrange a job that allows them to take care of their children? In 2 months, when the child turns 1, I will send him to a nursery, and it won't bother Xiaolan too much while she's at work." "Okay, after you pass the exam, I will discuss it with the logistics department." Lu Chongjing agreed. On the way back, Su Emo took out a few clay pots and jars from the space. It was inconvenient for Lu Xiaolan to take them before, so this time she took them out and said that they were bought outside. On the 25th, Su Emo arrived at the examination site early. The exam consists of 2 rounds. The first round is a written test, which takes 1 hour. The second round is an interview, which tests listening and speaking skills. As someone who has fought her way through the exam-oriented education system, Su Emo had no problem doing practice questions, and she felt that she was pretty confident in the written test. Special period, not many people could speak English, and there were only about 20 people coming to take the exam, so the interview was quite fast, about 10 minutes per person. Su Emo came early and got a number at the front, so it was her turn soon. After entering, there were 5 examiners in total, 3 from China and 2 foreigners. The foreigner asked questions first and communicated with Su Emo in English throughout. Seeing that Su Emo answered fluently, he nodded. Then the examiners from her country asked questions about her family background and politics, which was a bit like a political review. After hearing that Su Mo was a military family member and her parents worked at the university, the three examiners were quite satisfied. The political review in the military is stricter, and if anyone in the military can pass it, then there will basically be no problem. After asking the questions, the examiner asked Su Mo to go back and wait for news. He said the results would be posted on the bulletin board in 2 days, and she could come and see them then. 2 days later, Su Mo went to see the results by herself. Lu Chongjing had finished his vacation yesterday and returned to work in the army. Su Mo arrived a little early and waited there for almost an hour before the staff came out to post the notice. Seeing her name in the first place, Su Mo breathed a sigh of relief. Although she felt that she would have no problem taking the exam based on her ability, she was not sure if there would be any shady manipulation or something like that. Only 3 translators are recruited this time, and Su Mo is the first, that's for sure. Su Mo saw another line of words at the bottom of the notice, asking the top 3 people to go to the central office in the next 2 days to go through the employment procedures. Su Mo was too lazy to make another trip, so she went there right away. Foreign language translator is considered a technical position. Even if you have just started, the salary is 48 yuan and the benefits are quite good. You will receive more coupons than ordinary positions. Even the food is 36 kilograms of pure fine grain. After Su Mo completed the formalities, she was notified that she would officially start work on May 1st. On the way, Su Mo found an empty corner, took out some fruits from the space, took them to school, and told her parents that she had passed the exam. Then he sent a telegram to Gung Chongqing to tell him that he had passed the exam. Then he went back and found a secluded place on the way, took some fruits and a piece of wild boar meat, and prepared to have a snack when he returned in the evening. This wild boar meat came from the 2 big wild boars in her previous space. After she had a child, there were always people at home, and she bought meat from the supply and marketing cooperative. She didn't consume much wild boar meat, and now there was probably enough meat from 1 wild boar left in her space. Later, when she goes to work, she can occasionally take some out as a snack when she comes home from work. Lu Xiaolan was also very happy when she heard that Su Mo passed the exam. After Su Mo put down her things, she went to the management office to go through the transfer procedures for food relations, etc. After going to work, she transferred those relations to the unit. Her new unit are much better, so she no longer takes advantage of the military. In the evening, Lu Chongjing came home from work and brought back 2 children's beds. People in the south sleep on beds, but the beds provided by the army are not big, and it is really crowded for a family of 4 to sleep in. Most importantly, the children are there, and the wife is not allowed to touch her. Lu Chongjing immediately used his connections and asked someone to do 2 of them. This children's bed is made entirely of bamboo and is very exquisite. It is very cool to sleep on it in the summer, and you can just put a mattress on it in the winter. Southern children's bed, I used my connections to find a local craftsman who made it. It's much cheaper than the small beds sold in department stores, only $6 each. After Lu Chongjing got the bed back, he moved directly to the room where Lu Xiaolan slept, saying that she would take care of the children and let them sleep with her from now on. In the evening, the family had a good meal to celebrate Su Mo's success in getting a job. I never thought that wild boar meat would be sold in this big city, Lu Xiaolan said. Lu Chongjing knew that this must have been taken out by his wife from the space, so he said, "How can there be no wild boars? There are a lot of mountains and rural areas in the surrounding cities and counties. Where there are mountains and crops, there are wild boars. This wild boar meat was bought by your sister-in-law on the way back. Just eat it at home, and don't go out with it," Lu Chongjing explained. "I know, I was just saying it." Lu Xiaolan had seen people carrying baskets on their backs in Jinling before. It was normal to encounter such people, and who would be stupid enough to tell others about it? The break, Lu Chongjing packed the 2 little ones and brought them to Lu Xiaolan's place, successfully starting to eat meat. He also shamelessly said that Su Mo had passed the exam and got a job, so he had to take good care of her, which made Su Mo very angry. Before going to bed, Su Mo asked Lu Chongjing to talk to the army tomorrow about assigning Lu Xiaolan a job. After all, jobs are not available immediately, and you have to wait for a position. The sooner you tell them, the sooner they can arrange it. The next day, Lu Chongjung called Commander Lin to say hello. Lin's position had been determined before he was transferred here. He stayed in Yongcheng for less than a month. After becoming familiar with the situation, he went to Hainan province. "Did your wife fail the exam to get a job?" Teacher Lin asked. He had specially inquired about it before, and this boy's wife was quite capable, so she shouldn't have failed the exam. "If I pass the exam, the money won't be for my wife, but for my sister." "Didn't you say that your sister was here to take care of the children?" Commander Lin frowned. In the planned economy era, the army's things were also planned, and the number of family members that each officer could accompany was limited. In principle, only spouses, children, and parents could apply to accompany the army. Otherwise, if everyone brought their entire families along to follow the army's material supply would be enormous. "Yes, I am here to take care of the child. So I want to see if I can arrange a job that is convenient for taking care of the child. It won't be too much of a delay. In 2 months, when the child is 1 year old, my wife will send the child to a nursery." Lin was so angry that he had to arrange a job for him to take care of the children. Why didn't he go to heaven? "Your child will be able to walk. Send him to a nursery when he turns 1. The nursery will not accept children who cannot walk. Otherwise, the teacher will have to hold the child every day, which is too busy." "Yes, I can speak simple words now," Lu Chongjung replied proudly. Lin raised his eyebrows, imagining Lu Chongjung's proud look, and said, "Wait, I'll give a call to the logistics department. You can go over and tell them later. Also, you better keep a low profile. There are still many family members who are unemployed. Don't assign them jobs as soon as you get here, or it will make the logistics department's work difficult. I've been waiting for 4 months. It's not like I can get a job right away." "Commander, this quota was agreed upon at the beginning, but my wife didn't use it, so she gave it to my sister," Lu Chongjing said. "We should keep a low profile, but we should also make it clear what needs to be said. This was originally agreed upon early on, so don't make it seem like they took advantage of us. You won't be left out, kid. I'll talk to the logistics department later, and you can go there this afternoon." After Commander Lin hung up the phone, he called the leader of the military region's logistics department and told him about the situation. In the afternoon, Lu Chongjing took some time to go to the office of the logistics department that was responsible for family placement and told them about Lu Xiaolan's situation. They had already received instructions from their superiors, and when they heard that Lu Xiaolan not only had a junior high school education but had also worked in a supply and marketing cooperative before, they immediately made arrangements. "A teacher in the nursery was transferred 2 months ago, and we haven't found a suitable candidate yet. I think Comrade Lu Xiaolan is quite suitable. Why don't you go back and ask her if she is willing to try for 2 days? Not everyone can be a teacher in this nursery. After all, they take care of the children in the nursery, so the requirements are naturally higher. In addition to the education requirement of junior high school or above, they are also required to be patient and loving and be able to both lead and teach." When Lu Chongjing heard this, he thought this job was perfect for her. Xiaolan had always liked children, and her nephews and nieces liked her very much. She would definitely be able to do this job. If we send the children to the nursery, Xiaolan can just watch them. With their aunt around, they don't have to worry about being bullied. No need to ask, she will definitely be happy to do so. When do you think it would be convenient for her to try it? Lu Chongjing made the decision immediately. "I know my sister well. Lu Xiaolan is not a picky person. As long as there is work, she is happy to do it. We'll contact the nursery and ask her to go there tomorrow and try it out for 2 days. If she's suitable, she can start working in May." Lu Chongjing nodded and then asked about the welfare benefits. Working in a nursery, the monthly salary is 30 yuan, with 4 days of vacation, and the rest is determined by the family benefits of the family compound. When he returned home in the evening, Lu Chongjing told the two of them the good news. Lu Xiaolan couldn't believe it. "Why did you assign me a job?" She also got to know some people in the staff quarters these days, and many of the sisters-in-law were unemployed. So how come she, who came alone to help take care of the children, was arranged a job? You should thank your sister-in-law for this. The quota was originally hers, but she was worried that you would be jobless and feel insecure after coming here, so she took the job exam herself and gave the quota to you. These days, she has been urging me to talk to the army as soon as possible. Lu Chongjing tried to win favor for his wife. Lu Xiaolan was so touched that she could not help it. Besides her parents, the only one who cared so much about her was her third sister-in-law. Thank you, sister-in-law. Lu Xiaolan had tears in her eyes. Although she was happy to help her third brother and his wife take care of the children, she sometimes felt panicky, fearing that if she kept taking care of the children, she would not be able to go out to work in the future. Moreover, people who are used to receiving a salary will feel insecure when they suddenly lose their income and have to rely on others for support, fearing that they are becoming a burden to others. Although she had some savings, she was living beyond her means and did not dare to spend them at will. Now she has a job again. Not only does she have a higher salary than before, but she can also help her third brother and sister-in-law take care of their children. Lu Xiaolan instantly feels that she is confident again. Not only can she help her brother and sister-in-law, but she can also create value. The next day, Su Mo and the two little ones took Lu Xiaolan to the nursery. Of the nursery was a kind lady who looked to be in her 30s or 40s. Her surname was Hua. She introduced the nursery to Lu Xiaolan and showed her around. Su Mo took the opportunity to visit with her two children. After all, the two little ones would have to spend most of their time here in the next few years. The nursery is a single-story building with a yard, which has swings, wooden horses, and other facilities suitable for children to play. There are more than 80 children, divided into 3 classes according to age. The vacancy that Lu Xiaolan filled happened to be in the small class. In fact, the person who was transferred away before was from the middle class, and a teacher from the small class filled the vacancy and left the vacancy in the small class vacant. The children in the small class are very young and it is common for them to wet their pants. The teachers in the small class have the hardest working job. There were no kindergartens at that time. The children in the nurseries were basically between 1 and 4 years old. They were sent here because their parents had to work and there was no one to take care of them. Children over 4 years old can basically play by themselves, so there is no need to send them away. After all, the cost is not low. Every month, in addition to the 3 yuan childcare fee, you have to pay 3 yuan for lunch. This is 6 yuan per month for one child. If there are many children, it is not affordable. After the visit, Lu Xiaolan went to work, and Su Mo returned with the 2 little ones. After arriving home, Su Mo asked the 2 little ones, "What do you think of that place? Mommy will be going to work in a couple of days. Can I send you there to play with other kids?" Anna nodded, "I'm fine." In fact, she wanted to be alone, but her mother said that she shouldn't be too independent, so she just went. She has now adapted to being a child. It is very easy. She doesn't have to worry about anything as everything has been arranged for her. She can just enjoy herself and doesn't have to be on guard against anyone trying to harm her. Maybe it's not bad to live an ordinary life like this. Lele shook his head. "With my mother. Lulu, Mommy has to go to work and can't take care of the kids. Mommy can only buy you delicious food when she earns money." Lele still shook his head. "No, Dad makes money. My aunt is there too, and my sister will go there too. There are a lot of kids there, and it's a lot of fun." Lele was still not happy, and was about to make a scene with her lips pouted, when she heard Nin say, "Go." Lele could only pout, and say aggrievedly, "Go." Su Mo smiled and coaxed, "Don't be afraid. Sister will protect you. Right, Anan?" Anan nodded. Talking to the 2 kids, Su Mo took the tram to school with them. Today is Sunday. She made an appointment with Mo Yurong the day before yesterday to go shopping in the department store today. Arriving at the department store, the 2 elders went straight to the clothing section to buy some clothes for their daughter to wear to work. Working in this foreign trade center often involves receiving foreign guests, so she has to dress decently. Su Mo stopped her. Many of the clothes the original owner had brought were of very good styles and very new. She had no chance to wear them in Lujia village. She would wait until she wore those out. The 2 elders saw that their daughter's words made sense, so they did not insist. Before, their daughter's clothes were all bought at the friendship store, and the styles were indeed better than those in department stores. Su Mo didn't buy anything for herself, but bought a new set for each of her 2 elders. "Momo, your dad and I have enough clothes to wear, no need to buy more." Emo Yurong didn't want to. Raising 2 children would cost money everywhere, and they couldn't go back to High City now. You can buy more if you have enough to wear. I haven't bought any clothes for you yet. The ones made of coarse cloth in the cowshed before don't count. Emo Yurong wanted to say something else, but Su Tingqian stopped her. My daughter is filial, so let her buy it. After shopping in the department store, they went to the market to buy some meat and vegetables before returning to the family compound. Mom and Dad, when you want to rest in the future, you can come here. There is an empty room here, and you can live here.
Suemo said.
Her parents eat in the cafeteria every day, and the meals are from a big pot, which is definitely not as nutritious as what they cook themselves. She comes over every weekend so that she can make delicious food for them. After returning home, Suemo cooked egg noodles, and the group had a simple lunch. Afterwards, Suemo stewed the chicken she bought on the coal stove and added several slices of wild ginseng. She had thought about giving her parents a wild ginseng before, but since they couldn't cook, she just cooked it for them here. After the children woke up from their nap, the 3 of them took the 2 children to the management office to ask if they could send them to a nursery. Originally, the youngest child in the nursery had to be 1 year old, but Director Song from the management office saw that the 2 children were so well behaved, could already walk, and had no problem with simple communication. He also learned that the children's aunt worked in the nursery, so he agreed to do it first. Comrade Su, let's make a deal first. I'll do it for you, but whether your child can go to school depends on the teacher's assessment. You send your child there first. If the teacher thinks he can't take care of him, you have to take him back, and I'll return the money to you. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Director Song. Suemo quickly handed over the money. The 2 children agreed and stopped making trouble. In the evening, Lu Xiaolan came back from work, looking excited. Third sister-in-law, I made it. Teacher who told me to go to work on the first day of the month. I knew you could do it. I've already bought some good food today, and am waiting for you to come back to celebrate. Suemo said with a smile. Lu Xiaolan felt a little embarrassed. Her eyes suddenly turned red. She came over and hugged Suemo. Third sister-in-law, thank you so much.
Why, thank me.
I have already completed the procedures to send these 2 children to the nursery. From now on, you will have to take care of them. No problem, third sister-in-law, I will keep a close eye on it. Lu Xiaolan said with a smile. After dinner, Lu Chongjing borrowed a car again and sent Su Tingqian and his wife back to school. He also went to the kitchen to boil some water for the 2 elders to take a bath while there were many people around at night. He heard from his wife that someone seemed to be taking advantage of his father-in-law and mother-in-law, so he came over to scare them. Lu Chongjing is tall, tanned, and has a cold face, which makes him quite intimidating. There were a few aunties who were good at dealing with firewood. Seeing that the son-in-law looked difficult to deal with, they were a little nervous. It's better not to take firewood from the Su family in the future, otherwise when the son-in-law comes to beat them, the ones at home may not be able to beat him with 1 punch. The next day, Lu Xiaolan went to work half a day again. In the afternoon, teacher Hu asked her to go back and take a rest to prepare for work the next day. After get off work, Lu Xiaolan ran to the post office and called home. It was the busy time for spring planting in Lujia village. Li Yue heard the team broadcast that Xiaolan had called and asked her to go back to answer the phone.
She was shocked.
She called in the middle of the afternoon. Maybe something had happened. She quickly washed her hands and feet and ran to the team headquarters. When Lu Xiaolan called again, Li Yue had already thought of hundreds of things in her mind. As soon as the call was connected, she asked, Xiaolan, is there something wrong? Mom, nothing happened. There is something happy. Your third sister-in-law is pregnant again? Lu Xiaolan chuckled. No, I got a job again. My third brother and his wife arranged for me to go to a nursery here, and I get paid 30 yuan a month. Mom, I will send home $10 every month from now on. You and Dad should not save it. Lu Xiaolan had thought it through. From the 30 yuan salary, she would send 10 yuan home, give 10 yuan to her third sister-in-law for food, and keep the remaining 10 yuan for herself to buy some things occasionally. Li Yue waved her hands. Don't send money home. You have a lot of money to spend in the city. Keep it for yourself. Now that you have a job, You should pay for your third sister-in-law's living expenses. Don't rely on them for everything. Mom, I know. Don't send money home. Your father has a salary. Your father and I have saved the money you left last time. Because the phone bill was expensive, Li Yue always spoke very fast. Lu Xiaolan kept 200 yuan out of the 400 yuan she earned from selling her job for Li Yue and the others. She had given them the money before, but they refused to accept it. When Lu Xiaolan left, she stuffed the money under her pillow, and Li Yue only discovered it after she returned. Your third brother and his wife are very kind to you. You should remember that and take care of an in Lulu. I know. Of course, you also have to think about yourself and save some money for yourself. Li Yue was really happy for her daughter, but it would cost money to say too much.
Yeah.
Lu Xiaolan nodded. I won't say much else. I'll go back and ask your father to write you a letter tonight. You should write often. Phone calls are too expensive. Okay, I'll write to you when I get back. Lu Xiaolan said. She was also very happy and couldn't wait to tell her parents the news, so she rushed over to call. Now that she had already told them, she could write a letter to tell them the rest. Dinner, Li Yue told Lu Boming and Lu Qing'an that Lu Xiaolan had a job. The child was so happy. Fortunately, she went with her third sister-in-law. Not only did she see the world, but she also felt a lot more cheerful.
Li Yue said.
Otherwise, if I stay here, facing those nagging and annoying old women, I won't be able to get any more upset. The Yang family saw that Lu Xiaolan had run away with Su Mo, and there was no hope of remarriage, so they thought of finding another one for Yang Jingming and started to blame Lu Xiaolan. Gradually, rumors spread that Lu Xiaolan was infertile. Whenever Li Yue heard about people from the Lujia village brigade, she would scold them, but she had no way to deal with people from other places. The third brother and his wife will not treat her badly, Lu Boming said. He had previously guessed that the third brother and his wife would pay her a salary, but he did not expect that they would directly arrange a job for her. Jobs in big cities are very hard to come by, and many young city dwellers have to move to the countryside. I'm afraid it took a lot of effort for the couple. Everything costs money in the city, and I heard that there is often a shortage of food. If you have any spare food at home, please send some to me when the time comes. Lu Boming said. Okay, I'll ask when I write. If they're short of it, I'll buy some and send it to you. Lu Qing'an said. In the evening, the first and second wives also learned that Lu Xiaolan had found a job in Yangcheng. Xiaolan is so lucky. She thought she would just take care of the children when she arrived in Guangzhou, but she didn't expect that she would get a job in the city. Lu Yuji sighed. You're lucky too. You have a job now. Lu Xingjuan smiled at her. That's different. I paid for my job, but Xiaolan got it for free. The third brother and his wife are really great. Lu Xiaolan said she was going to look after the child, but in fact her main purpose was to avoid the troubles here, but she didn't care at all and arranged a job for her. Although she could help look after the child in her current job, it costs money to send her child there. The third brother and his wife are good people. They have helped the family a lot over the years.
Yes.
Lu Yuji replied with a smile. I heard that there is a severe shortage of food outside. You can write to them and ask them. If they don't have enough food over there, write to them and we will buy some and send it to them. Since starting to work at the supply and marketing cooperative, Lu Yuji felt that her horizons had been broadened and she was no longer focused on her own little piece of land. Okay, then I'll go talk to Dad. He's writing a letter right now, Lu Xingjuan said, and went to Lu Qing'an. On May 1st, the whole family got up early, got themselves ready, fed the children breakfast, and then went out. On the first day of going to the nursery, Lele strongly requested his parents to send him there. Su Mo was able to satisfy this small request. After sending the two little ones to the nursery, Su Mo hurriedly rode her bike to work. Su Mo goes to work at 8 o'clock, and it takes about 40 minutes to get there by bike. Su Mo left home at 7 o'clock, but she almost was late. Su Mo worked in a prosperous area of Guangzhou at that time. There was not only the landmark Guangzhou Hotel, but also the exhibition hall and many well-known factories. Therefore, there are a lot of people going to work there every day. The first few times Su Mo went there, it was not during working hours, so she did not encounter such a spectacle. When Su Mo arrived at the bridge, she was shocked when she saw the endless traffic jam. Bicycle traffic jam at Haiju Bridge. She never thought that there would be traffic jams when riding a bicycle. Su Mo covered her face. In the countryside, having a bicycle was considered amazing, but in Guangzhou, there were so many of them. Su Mo was almost anxious to death, but even though there was a traffic jam, she was able to move slowly. After a lot of effort, she finally arrived at the office in the last few minutes. When Su Mo arrived, the other two people had already arrived. Su Mo felt very embarrassed and apologized quickly. Fortunately, the HR director was kind and asked Su Mo with a smile, "Is the road congested?" "Yes. This is the first time I have encountered such a situation." "This is one of the characteristics of Guangzhou," said the personnel director. Before, a foreign guest took a photo of it and published it in a foreign newspaper. It became one of the 9 wonders of the year in that country. The personnel director finished speaking. He called a staff member from the personnel department to complete the relevant procedures for Su Mo and the other two, and issued the grain and oil books to them. Among the 3 people recruited this time, except Su Mo, who is A, the other 2 are all gay men. The 2 men were very happy to see that their new colleague was a young and beautiful, but they were very disappointed when they found out that Su Mo was married. After completing the formalities, the clerk took the 3 people to the translation department. The translation department's office is very large, and the furnishings inside should have been inspired by the foreign styles of that period. It gives the feel of an ordinary company in later times. The HR department took the 3 people to the office of the director of the translation department and then left. The director of the translation department was one of the 5 examiners. He wore a Zhongshan suit and thin-framed glasses. He looked very elegant and scholarly. "Hello, my name is Yi Wenbin." Yi Wenbin said, "Welcome to join the translation department. I hope you can shine in your position and contribute to the import and export business of our country." Having said that, Yi Wenbin went out again, called everyone in the department over, and introduced the new colleague to everyone. Everyone gathered. Su Mo looked at the men in front of her with a confused look on her face. Isn't there a single woman?" Yi Wenbin also emphasized Su Mo's introduction. "As you can see, our department finally hired a female comrade this year." The old colleagues all clapped happily. Yi Wenbin stretched out his hand to press it. Although comrade Su Mo is a female comrade, she is as capable as any man. Her English skills are very strong. She is first in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. She is the first in this exam. Let's communicate more in the future. Then, Yi Wenbin introduced 2 other male colleagues, one named Zhao Ziqing and the other named Yan Jingtao. After the introduction, Yi Wenbin took the 3 people to their workstations. Their workstations were the most common booths of later generations, but for that period, they were already very advanced. The 2 male colleagues looked over with surprise and joy in their eyes. In order to avoid being too special, Su Mo also deliberately showed surprise from time to time. Afterwards, Yi Wenbin introduced to them the general work content of the translation department. It is mainly divided into 2 aspects. First, when there are no exhibitions, we translate and introduce domestic commodities that need to be exported and send them to foreign cooperative institutions, striving to promote the export of commodities and create foreign exchange income for the country. At the same time, we also translate and verify the product introductions sent from abroad. Second, during the exhibition, they act as translators to help domestic companies export their products and generate foreign exchange earnings for the country. Anyway, the most important goal is to strive to create foreign exchange income for the country. The working days passed quickly, and more than half a month had passed in a flash. When Su Mo joined the company, it was the final stage of the spring fair. It was a rare occasion to have a female comrade come, so Yi Wenbin entrusted Su Mo with an important task and asked her to see off the foreign guests. Previously, the department was composed entirely of men, and other trading groups were also basically men. Many foreign businessmen believed that women had a very low status in the country. This was a rare opportunity to change that impression, so Yi Wenbin naturally would not let it go. Su Mo is beautiful, speaks fluently, and treats people very well. All the foreign businessmen who have met her have praised her. Although they also brought their own translators, they are still inferior to Su Mo. Because during the communication process, Su Mo would also introduce them to some local customs and habits, allowing them to have a deeper understanding of the country. So Su Mo was sent out and she took a taxi every day, running between the hotel, the airport, and the train station, and her legs became thinner. But she also got to know many taxi drivers, and from their stories, she felt the difficulties of the country during this period. Photos of the 1973 Spring China Export Fair last year. During the exhibition period, many foreign businessmen were dissatisfied due to the shortage of housing and transportation. The higher-ups specially ordered a batch of vehicles to be dispatched from Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, and other places to provide support, and even the drivers followed the vehicles. At last year's autumn trade fair, thanks to the strong support from above, the export turnover exceeded the $1 billion mark for the first time, accounting for more than 20% of the country's export turnover that year. This is something to be very proud of for Guangzhou. This year, the higher authorities approved the purchase of 200 cars to join the Yangqing Automobile Company, and a group of soldiers were transferred from the army to strengthen the driver team. Yangqing Motor Company increased from more than 60 to more than 200, and traffic problems were greatly improved. During this period, there was a funny episode. When Yi Wenbin learned that Su Mo didn't have an English name, he offered to help her choose one. The next day, he thought of a name called Mary. When Su Mo thought about being called Mary Su, the corners of her mouth twitched, and she immediately refused. Then, from the names that Yi Wenbin thought of, he chose Kira, and thus Su Mo became the famous Kira Su. Seeing his wife so busy as soon as she went to work, Lu Chongjing felt very distressed, so he took care of all the housework. Every day when Su Mo came home from get-off work, he would massage her feet and back. Not only did he do all the work himself, he also ordered the two children to massage her hands and pour her water. Lu Xiaolan found it funny and joked with Su Mo, saying that this was the treatment only enjoyed by wealthy landlords in the old society. She also felt sorry for Su Mo, so she didn't let her get involved in household matters. Su Mo was busy until mid-month, and after sending most of the foreign businessmen away, she returned to the office and started preparing for the autumn trade fair with everyone. Just 2 days after the leisure time, Lu Chongjing received an order from above to start the third training session. After Lu Chongjing left, Lei was the happiest. Because Lu Chongjing was not there, Su Mo took him and Enan back to sleep with her. Although Lei is smart, he is still a child after all, and he still likes to stick to his mother. While Su Mo and the others were busy, things started to take place in Beijing, and some people were plotting against the Su family. He must teach a lesson to the Su family, who had caused him to suffer a loss. If he doesn't kill the chicken to scare the monkey, how can he convince others in the future? End of May, Su Mo received 3 quilts sent by the Lu family. After Lu Qingyan received Su Mo's telegram, he went to the commune to place an order. However, at that time all the brigades were busy planting, so there was some delay. It was not completed until early May, and it would take 10 days or half a month to ship it. Almost June, and it was getting hot in Guangzhou, so Su Mo put away the bedding and laid it out again when the weather got cooler. It was the weekend. Su Tingqian and Mo Yurong came over. Su Mo rode her bike to the market to buy meat and vegetables. On her way back, she went to the post office to remit money back home. She and Lu Chongjing agreed that since they could not take care of their parents in Yangqing, they would send them 10 yuan every month so that the elderly could buy meat for themselves. After lunch, Su Mo was about to take a rest when she heard someone coming from the message room, asking her to answer the phone. Su Mo ran over quickly, having a bad feeling in her heart. She felt that something had happened. Maybe Lu Chongjing had an accident during training. Su Mo picked up the phone and found out it was Lu Qinggan calling. "Dad, what happened?" The older generation would never make a phone call unless it was an extremely urgent matter. "Xiao Mo, Secretary Geng was shot." Lu Qingyan quickly told the situation. Lu Qinggan and his team, as representatives of the outstanding brigade of Hongqi Commune, went to the county for a meeting today. After the meeting in the morning, Gung Chongqing went to the cafeteria to eat with everyone. When he was about to enter the cafeteria, several bullets flew in from nowhere and hit Gung Chongqing. Gung Chongqing was shot twice, and one of his secretaries blocked several bullets for him. Both of them have been sent to the hospital, and their conditions are still unknown. After much deliberation, Lu Qing'an decided to call Su Mo. After all, he was her uncle, and he had to tell her about the situation. After Su Mo hung up the phone, her hands were shaking a little. Uncle Gung is dedicated to serving the public and the people. He is a rare good cadre. Such a person must not get into trouble. For some reason, she had a hunch that Gung Chongqing's accident was related to the fact that he helped her family. Su Mo returned home and told her parents about Gung Chongqing's accident, asking them to be careful in the future. If that person really did it, then their family should be the next one to be killed. Su Tingqian was also anxious. After discussing with his daughter, he rode his bike to the post office and called Su Tingda. After the call was connected, Su Mo told Su Tingda about Gung Chongqing's accident. Su Tingda was not surprised and obviously already knew about it. "Uncle, how is Uncle Gung doing now? He wasn't hit in the vital parts, but he still needs to rest for a while." However, his secretary, Su Tingda, was silent for a while, died. Su Mo also fell silent. She had met both of Gung Chongqing's secretaries before. They were both very nice guys. "Uncle, is that the man? We're still investigating, but it's almost certain. You guys should be careful during this time," Su Tingda said. As the city hosting the export trade fair, Yangqing's safety work is not comparable to that of Qingxi County, but we still need to be on guard. Knowing that Su Tingqian was also there, Su Tingda asked him to answer the phone again and gave him some instructions over the phone. Su Tingda and his team's investigation soon alarmed those people. Regarding the Su family's affairs, if you are not sure that you can kill them with one move, don't act rashly for the time being. Everyone knows that the Su family is rich, but no one knows how many chips the Su family has secretly, so how dare they move them casually? When this idiot attacked the Su family, they didn't know about it, and it was too late to receive the news, so they also wanted to see the Su family's trump card. As a result, it turned out that the Su family really couldn't be touched. Gung Chongqing stayed in the hospital for a few days and was discharged early. He was very sad about the death of his secretary. But the more sad he was, the more he could not rest. For both public and private reasons, he had to do his job as quickly as possible, to bring peace to the people and political integrity, to redress the injustice and to make the evildoers pay the corresponding price. Seeing that Gung Chongqing insisted on working despite his injuries, the cadres of Qingxi County worked more diligently and did not dare to slack off at all. Learning about Gung Chongqing's accident, Su Mo cut off half of the wild ginseng and mailed it to him. Fearing that Gung Chongqing would get suspicious, Su Mo did not dare to send a single root, so she cut the half root into pieces and said that she had kept it for her own use. The children's safety will not be a problem as long as they do not leave the family compound. The other party does not have the ability to break into the family compound and commit crimes. As for parents, as long as they stay in school and pay more attention to themselves, there shouldn't be a big problem. After all, Yangqing is not like Qingxi County, where the military headquarters is located. If someone dares to use a gun to commit crimes in public, the Yangqing military district will be humiliated. Compared to themselves, Su Tingqian and his wife were more worried about Su Mo. After all, she had to ride a bike to and from work every day and spent a long time on the road. In order to reassure her parents, Su Mo took a tricycle to and from work for a while. Motorized tricycles in Guangzhou in the 1960s and 1970s, it is the kind of motorized tricycle called three-legged chicken. It is much faster than a bicycle but a little more expensive, costing 1.5 cents per ride. In the Foreign Trade Center, it is very stressful. In addition to normal work, every week, we have to study politics, learn the thoughts of great men, learn foreign affairs discipline, understand precautions, and establish vigilance against sabotage by enemy agents. Because they are the first window to the outside world, they are most susceptible to temptation and most likely to encounter enemy spies, so the political requirements are high. Mid-June, Su Tingde came to Yangqing for a meeting and told Su Mo's family about the progress of the matter. The leaders have already received the news, and the leaders of both sides have worked together to cause a lot of trouble for the other side. It is estimated that the other side will not have time to make plans to attack Yangqing for a while. Su Tingde told Su Mo and the others not to be too nervous and just live their lives normally, but they should not be careless and still have to be cautious. Only then did Su Mo start riding her bicycle to work again. End of the month, Su Mo also received a letter from Lu Qing'an. He said he went to see Geng Chongqing, and apart from looking a little weak, he didn't seem to be in any serious condition. It was also said that the government organized a large team to search the area around Bukai Mountain. Some people said they were looking for enemy spies, while others said they were looking for treasures. However, a large group of people searched for a week and found nothing except a lot of prey. He also talked about some trivial matters at home. Judging from the tone, it should be dictated by Li Yue and written by Lu Qing'an. Finally, I told them to take care of their health and not to worry about their families. If they didn't have enough food, they should send a telegram home. Lu Qing'an had written to ask if she needed some food to be sent from home, but Su Mo refused. She was with the army. Lu Chongjing's food supply was also transferred, and she had an extra 45 kilograms of food per month. Even if it was not enough, she still had special abilities, so she would never be short of food. She would take some out when she got off work, and no one would be suspicious. After all, she was not the only one working outside, and she often saw other sisters-in-law coming back from shopping. If you meet someone carrying a backpack, it's normal to buy some food and daily necessities for your family. Everyone knows this. There is a shortage of supplies, and the troops only have so much supply, so there is nothing you can do if you don't have it. July 1st was the two little ones' one-year-old birthday, which happened to fall on a Sunday. Su Tiqian and his wife came early in the morning with the gifts they had bought, big and small. Lu Xiaolan also took a day off on purpose to celebrate the first birthday of the two little ones. Before, Lu Xiaolan wanted to pay for living expenses, but Su Mo refused, so Lu Xiaolan spent the money on buying food and the two little ones. Last month, when she was on vacation, she went to the department store early to buy the most fashionable fabrics, made a new set of clothes for each of the two little ones, and also made 2 pairs of cute cloth shoes. Li Yue also made a new set of clothes for each of her 2 grandchildren and sent them to them, which they received 2 days ago. Lele was so happy to see the new clothes. When he found out that they were sent by his grandma, he said he wanted to talk to her. After the 2 children went to the nursery, their language talent was further developed. Not long ago, Su Mo took the 2 children to call Li Yue, so Lele knew that he could talk to his grandmother through this little thing. At noon, Su Mo gave the child to Su Tingqian and his family, and took a 3-legged bus to the Western restaurant of Yangqing Hotel to pick up the cake she had ordered. Some time ago, Su Mo had some unfinished work, so she took the information home. There happened to be a cake pattern on the picture album sent from abroad. When Lele saw it, he asked for something to eat. Su Mo promised him that she would buy it for him when he turned 1 year old. Yangqing Hotel. Su Mo went there often and became familiar with the leader there. So she used his connections to order a cake custom made from the chef of the Western restaurant. Cakes were a rare commodity during that period and were very expensive. A cake that would weigh no more than 3 pounds in later generations cost Su Mo $18. But since she had promised the child, she couldn't break her promise. It was a pity that she didn't have an oven, otherwise she would have made it herself. When Lele heard that his mother had gone to get the cake, he was so craving for it that he didn't want to stay in the house and just stood outside the gate waiting. The sun in Guangzhou in July was scorching hot, which made Mo Yurong feel very distressed. She held up a bamboo hat to block the sun for him. The 3 children next door heard Lele talking about a beautiful cake. Although Lele didn't explain it clearly, seeing the way he slobbered, he thought it must be delicious, so they also waited at the door to see if they could get a piece to try. Next door always have delicious food every day. If this kid can drool over it, it must be something very good. When Su Mo came back with the cake, she saw 7 or 8 children lined up at the door. Shumo? There are so many people, I don't know if there are enough to share. Su Mo is not a stingy person. Although she has not made close friends with other people in the family compound in the past 2 months, she gets along well with them. Since the children were here, there was no point in sending them back home, so they were all allowed in. When the paper box containing the cake was opened, the children exclaimed at the colorful, white, and delicate cake, and the sound of their slurping saliva became even louder. Lu Xiaolan had been a teacher in the nursery for 2 months and was already very good at dealing with children. She immediately ordered the children to line up to prevent any of them from spoiling the cake. Su Emo directed the children to say happy birthday to the 2 little ones and then cut the cake. During this period, it is not a good idea to hold ceremonies like singing happy birthday and blowing out candles. It is too high profile. Su Emo cut half of the cake and shared it among the children and saved the rest for the family to eat later. She went to see Zhang Zhen last month. He said he would come over today and he would have to leave a piece for someone. Zhang Zhen's library is not in the same district as Su Mo's. It is quite far away and there is no direct bus. After changing buses, you still have to take a tricycle to get there. It takes 2 or 3 hours for one trip. In order to save the old man from trouble, Su Emo did not invite anyone over on weekends. Her family went to see him once a month. The children were all very surprised, and their eyes were sparkling. Some of them who were eager to show off even squinted their eyes to enjoy it, which made Su Emo laugh. I guess this cream is something that children have never tasted before. It is sweet, soft, and has a milky flavor. There is no one that children don't like. Some people ate fast and some ate slowly, but the portions were not large, and they finished in a short while. Fortunately, there were no naughty children here, and they were well educated. After eating, they all thanked Su Emo politely and went home. At lunchtime, Zhang Zhen arrived, and Xiaoding was with him. Su Emo saw Zhang Zhen carrying large and small bags of things, and hurried to take them. She thought he must have gone to the department store first, bought some things, and then came here. Su Emo discovered that the elderly seemed to particularly like buying clothes. Zhang Zhen also bought 2 sets of clothes for each of the 2 little ones, as well as a lot of toys and several picture books. The lunch was very sumptuous, with chicken, duck, fish, and pork all available. After the meal, Su Emo cut the remaining cake and gave each of them a piece. Lele loves sweets. After eating more than 1 piece, his little belly was full. He strolled around, patted his belly, and said to Su Emo, "Mom, I will buy you a cake for my next birthday." The adults all laughed when they saw him like that. Zhang Zhen and his friends didn't stay long, and they drove back in the afternoon. Su Tiqian and his wife had dinner before returning to school. After eating the cake, the children couldn't forget it. When they got home, they started to ask their parents to buy them more. The parents had never seen anything like it before, and the children kept asking for more. So, in anger, they made a meal of bamboo shoots fried with meat. When Su Emo was sending her parents to the bus, she heard the crying of children in many people's homes, especially next door, where 3 children were crying loudly. The next day, when Sumo came home from work, a parent came to her and asked her where she bought the cake she had ate yesterday. The child was clamoring to eat some, so could she buy one for her as well. After Su Emo told the price, the parent left with an awkward smile and beat his child again when he got home. This food cost almost $20 and was finished in 1 meal. She couldn't bear to part with it. Mid-July, the center issued tasks to various departments, requiring them to go to various export manufacturers to follow up on the goods that needed to be exported. Last year's autumn trade fair achieved a turnover of over $1 billion, but due to problems such as delayed delivery, the turnover of this year's spring trade fair was still a little short of $1 billion. Faced with tremendous pressure from above and mobilizing national resources to support the trade fair, the center director and the Yangchun government did not want to disappoint their leaders, so they put all their efforts into preparing for another comeback in the fall. Most of the products that Su Emo had dealt with before were from High City, so this time she was assigned to go on a business trip to High City. When Sumo learned that she was going to be sent to High City, she called Su Tingda after get off work and asked about the current situation in High City. Although she is a psychic, she can only implant and cannot heal. If the opponent suddenly shoots her and hits her vitals, she will still die. She hasn't lived enough here and doesn't want to die so early. When Su Tingda heard this, he did not dare to take the risk and immediately asked Su Emo to go on a business trip to another place. Su Emo had long wanted to go back to High City. Now that she had a legitimate excuse to go back, she didn't want to miss it. She repeatedly assured him that she would be careful. But he kept reminding Su Emo to be extremely careful, to keep close to her colleagues and the people who were meeting her, and not to be left alone. Including Su Emo, there were 3 people going to High City this time, including her boss Yuanbin. After all, High City has a developed industry and has many commodities suitable for export. They went there to help the factory improve its products and make them more suitable for export. When they arrived in Haishur, the factory provided them with food, accommodation, and transportation, and they were basically accompanied by someone throughout the trip. After confirming the date of the business trip, Su Emo went to school again and asked Su Tingqian about the entrance to the secret room, where things were hidden. She is now at the 3rd level of her ability, and the space is 2 or 3 times larger than before. If it was just a small room before, now it is about the size of a 60-70 square meter suite, which should be enough space to pack everything. Su Tingqian told Su Emo the entrance and said, "Momo, that thing is hidden very well, and Dad has never looked at it. You should not worry about it, lest you leave any traces and be discovered by others." "Well, I'm not going to see it. I'm just asking out of curiosity." She had to find an opportunity to collect the things, and then find an opportunity to put the things back after those people fell and the situation stabilized. She tried her best to leave no traces. If she was so unlucky and was discovered, those people would not find anything worth a penny even if they searched the secret room. "Mom and Dad, I'm going on a business trip for at least half a month. These days, you'll have to stay at the family compound after work and help look after the kids." Su Emo changed the subject, otherwise, Xiaolan will be alone, and I'm afraid she won't be able to handle it. Su Tingqian waved his hand. "Don't worry, we will get there." Su Tiqian and his wife gave Su Emo some more instructions, asking her to be careful in everything. After Su Emo returned home, she told the 2 little ones that she was going on a business trip. When Lele heard that his mother would be away for several days, he cried and pouted for a long time until Su Emo promised to buy him a cake when she came back. He then stopped.
Zu Montag was amuset.
And was calm, but when she was sleeping at night, she suddenly asked Su Emo to be careful. Su Emo responded with a smile, pulled Anan over and kissed her. "Anan, Mom is not here. Please help look after your brother." Anan nodded, and the tips of her ears turned red instantly. Su Emo was so happy that she hugged her and kissed her again, this awkward girl. The next day, Su Emo carried her luggage and took a ride to the airport. Time is precious, and leaders don't want to waste time on the road, so they applied to their superiors for permission to take a flight. It was Sumo's first time taking a plane of that period. The airport was not as grand and magnificent as those in later generations. It was just a 3-story building used as a terminal, and there were not many people inside. The terminal building of Guangzhou Baiyun Airport in the 1970s, however, the security check was much stricter than in later generations. Not only did the luggage have to be opened and checked piece by piece, but the clothes on the body also had to be taken off to see if there were any dangerous items on board. The plane was a very small one, with only about 20 to 30 seats, but it was almost full, with few empty seats. This experience is naturally not as good as the large aircraft in later generations. It feels very bumpy. More than 3 hours later, the plane landed at the airport in High City. The people who came to pick them up at the airport were from the candy factory, the manufacturer of White Rabbit milk candy. The main purpose of Su Emo and her friends coming here this time was White Rabbit milk candy. White Rabbit milk candy was given as a state gift. It became an instant hit abroad, with sales increasing several times over previous years. However, foreign distributors have also reported many problems. That is, the current packaging of White Rabbit is a bit too rigid, and they hope that the packaging design can be improved. The exported White Rabbit milk candies are all packed in iron boxes, which come in 2 styles, a rectangular iron box and a square one. White Rabbit milk candy export packaging in the 1970s, the rectangular one has a turquoise background and 2 little rabbits, one pulling a cart of candies in the front and one pushing it in the back. The white one should be an imitation of the design of foreign chocolates, but Suemo thinks it looks a bit out of place and loses its original color. In addition to the driver, Director Xie from the candy factory's export business department also came to pick us up at the airport. Taking them to the factory guest house and settling them down, Director Xie took them to the factory cafeteria for a meal. The candy factory provided good benefits, and the food was very sumptuous. Time was running out, so after dinner, Director Xie convened the heads of design and production, as well as several factory leaders, for a discussion meeting. Of the White Rabbit image is a man named Wang Yan from Haisher. He was very talented in painting and had his paintings exhibited abroad when he was a child. During the special period, he could not go to school and became a worker in a candy factory. With his talent for painting, he became the first art designer of the candy factory. Now, he is the director of the art design department of the candy factory. Because most of the people who eat candy are children and women, Yu Wenbin assigned this product to Suemo to follow up. Suemo had communicated with Wang Yan on the phone several times before and had told him her ideas. The main reason for coming here this time was to take a look at the packaging samples. When Suemo saw the sample, her eyes lit up. She had to say that Wang Yan really had a talent for design. The new packaging had a particularly mysterious Oriental style. Wang Yan made several designs in total. 2 of them were round iron boxes with large capacity. One was a portable gift-style iron box, and several others followed Suemo's advice and used cardboard gift bag-style packaging. The design had an ancient Oriental style, mainly using chang'e and the jade rabbit to embody the artistic conception of a full moon and a reunion of people. Of course, the jade rabbit uses the image of the big white rabbit. Factory leaders looked at it. They had different opinions. Some were very satisfied, while others were hesitant. One of the factory leaders pointed to a large package that could hold 3 kilograms of candy and said, "Our candy is not cheap. How many people can afford such a large package?" It is probably the kind of rhombus-shaped packaging at the back. For your reference, Wang Yan looked at Suemo. It was Suemo who suggested making this, because of its large capacity. Suemo was well prepared and immediately reported to everyone the feedback from foreign businessmen and the approximate wage levels in foreign countries. Several of the foreign businessmen I received previously reported that our products were too small and not suitable for gifts. The average monthly salary in the United States is about $2,000, so it is still acceptable to buy a large box of candy as a gift. 500g box of White Rabbit candy was previously exported for around $2, and 3 kilograms was only $6. At that time, $1 was equivalent to more than 2 yuan, and a large box of candy cost more than 10 yuan. Indeed, few people in China were willing to buy it. But foreigners are sweet-loving and love to eat candy, so this price is completely acceptable compared to their wages. Several factory leaders took a deep breath. They also know that the living standard abroad is better than in China, but they didn't expect that even ordinary workers can have such high salaries. They, the leaders, only make about 100 yuan a month, while the average salary abroad is over 1,000 yuan. Between our country and foreign countries is still quite large, and we have a long way to go. Although they had met many foreign guests before, they could not communicate in language. Everyone discussed business seriously with the help of translators and knew very little about the situation in foreign countries. Unlike Suemo, she had no language communication barriers, and her self-confidence made foreign businessmen look up to her and be willing to talk to her about these things. So Suemo also found out a lot of information. Suemo looked at their expressions and added, "Our country is still developing, and there is indeed some gap between us and foreign countries. But I believe that through the joint efforts of the people, this gap will gradually narrow and even surpass it. Therefore, we should work harder to expand the export volume of our products, create more foreign exchange earnings, and allow the country to introduce more advanced technologies to benefit the people. That's exactly what we mean when we design large capacity packaging. Even if we sell 1 box of product, a large box can generate an extra 2 kilograms of foreign exchange for the country. I suggest that the unit price of large boxes can be appropriately lowered. Foreign friends will find that large boxes are more cost-effective and will be more inclined to buy them. In this way, the sales of large boxes will also increase. Afterwards, some people raised objections to the paper box packaging. One reason was that they thought the paper box was not high-end enough, and the other was that they thought the design had some feudal and superstitious meanings. Su Mo took the Maotai Dunhuang Feitian version as an example and responded to everyone's doubts one by one. These paper box models are mainly aimed at overseas Chinese businessmen in Hong Kong, Macau, and Southeast Asia. Although they are abroad, they are Chinese after all and still resonate with traditional culture. After the entire meeting, Yu Wenbin had a new respect for Su Mo. Su Mo seemed to be more business-savvy than those salesmen. After listening to her clear and logical explanation, he even wanted to pay for the product. He decided to send Su Mo to the trade negotiation team at the autumn trade fair. With her eloquence, he estimated that she could sign a lot of orders. The country still lacks translators who are fluent in both speaking and understanding business. Most of the translations have to rely on translators brought by the other party. Due to language barriers, many ideas cannot be expressed. Negotiations on quantity and price are often passive, and the initiative is basically in the hands of the other party. This discussion lasted until around 7 or 8 in the evening. Su Mo and Wang Yan were talking so much that their mouths were dry. Finally, we all unanimously decided to make posters of all these samples, send them to several major partners, listen to their opinions and feedback, and then select 2 or 3 models to produce a part and export them to overseas markets to test the waters. Afterwards, everyone conducted a series of discussions on the taste, shape, and inner packaging of the toffee. The 3 of them stayed in the candy factory for another 2 days. After that, they separated and went to different factories. Su Mo was assigned to a textile factory and a canning factory. The textile factory sent a car to the candy factory to pick up Su Mo, and along with them came a staff member from the external business department. The clerk saw Su Mo. He exclaimed, "Comrade Su Mo, it's really you. I thought we had the same name." This textile factory was the one where the original owner worked before, but Su Mo did not find this person in her memory. She asked awkwardly, "Hello, comrade, who are you?" The man smiled awkwardly. "My name is Han Jianchong. You may not know me." Su Mo was beautiful and was secretly voted the most beautiful girl in the factory by the male colleagues as soon as she entered the factory. Therefore, many people knew her.
Hello, Comrade Han. Shumogritit pelaitli.
Han Jianchong hurriedly welcomed the person into the car. After getting in the car, facing the female comrade he once admired, Han Jianchong suddenly became very nervous and didn't know what to say for a while. Originally, the leader sent him to pick up the person because he was good at speaking and good at mobilizing the atmosphere. After a while of strange silence in the car, Han Jianchong finally spoke. "Comrade Su Mo, I heard that you went to the countryside. How come?" He ran to Yangcheng and became a translator at the Foreign Trade Center. Su Mo smiled and said, "My husband is in the Yangcheng military region. I followed the army there and was admitted to the Foreign Trade Center." Han Jianchong was very surprised. "You are married?"
Yes. Shumonari.
Not wanting to talk too much about her personal affairs, she changed the topic to work. "How is the research on the patterns and varieties of fabrics in your factory going?" At the end of April this year, when the higher-ups listened to the report of the core group of the Ministry of Foreign Trade on the spring trade fair, they gave clear instructions. "We must study the international market demand for textiles, and we should produce a variety of textiles with more colors and patterns, not just gray cloth." The Ministry of Foreign Trade immediately passed this instruction to all textile factories. Sumo's task this time was to look at the research results of the textile factory's new patterns and varieties and give corresponding suggestions. After all, their department has been dealing with foreign businessmen for a long time, so they will know better which patterns are more popular with foreign businessmen. When Sumo asked about work, Han Jianchong quickly adjusted his attitude and started talking to Sumo about work. The textile factory and the candy factory were not far from each other. It only took more than half an hour to drive there, and we arrived there quickly. Han Jianchong first took Su Mo to the factory director's office. Director Zhong was also surprised when he saw Su Mo. "Comrade Su Mo, I'm so glad to see you. When you were going to work in the countryside, I felt very sorry that the factory had lost a talented person. Now I see that talented people can really shine wherever they go. Director Zhong greeted. In fact, I started to think about it in my mind. What Yang Shuren did spread throughout the area, and he guessed that what happened to the Yang family later was the result of revenge from the Su family. Now that Su Mo has returned from the countryside and has become a translator at the Foreign Trade Center, I'm afraid the Su family's problems have been resolved. Now that he has freed up his hands, I wonder if he will be able to deal with the remaining 2 people in the Yang family? His daughter refused to listen to his advice and insisted on marrying Yang Suang. He hoped that this would not affect him. He had to remind Yang Suang to keep a low profile for the next 2 days, or simply take a leave of absence, so that Su Mo would not run into him during this time. Director Zhong exchanged a few more pleasantries with Su Mo, then asked Han Jiancheng to take Su Mo to the guest house to settle down first. After she had rested well, he would take her to the R&D department to see new designs. Director Zhong, this place is not far from my home. I haven't been back for a long time. I want to go home and visit, so I won't stay in the guest house. Su Mo said. Okay, Xiao Han, please arrange a car to take Comrade Su Mo home and let her settle down first. Su Mo thanked Director Zhong and came out of his office, just in time to meet Yang Suang, who was looking for Director Zhong. When Yang Suang saw Su Mo, he was flustered for a moment, but soon calmed down and said, Xiao Mo, you're back. Su Mo curled her lips. Comrade Yang, long time no see. When Director Zhong in the office heard Yang Suhong's voice, he felt his scalp tingling. How could we run into each other by such a coincidence? After Su Mo greeted Yang Suang, she did not stay. When Director Zhong got up and came out, he had already left. Director Zhong looked at Yang Suang, his face darkened instantly, and he turned to him and said coldly, Come in. When Yang Suang heard Su Mo calling him Comrade Yang, his face turned unhappy. He was afraid that the Su family had completely cut off ties with his family. After entering the office and closing the door, Director Zhong said, Su Mo is now a translator at the Yangqing Foreign Trade Center. That job is not for ordinary people. Her parents should be fine now. You should be careful during this period and make sure you don't make any mistakes at work. The marriage was completed, and the grandson was born. No matter how dissatisfied Director Zhong was, he could only hold his nose and pave the way for Yang Suang. Almost 2 years had passed since Yang Suang was suppressed for promotion. Director Zhong had thought the time was right and was planning to promote Yang Suang to director. But at this time, the Su family showed up again, so it seemed that he had to wait a little longer. Su Mo has a good relationship with my sister. I asked her to come back and explain to her that our family really did not do such a thing. It's all just rumors made up by others. No matter how the rumors spread, his family cannot admit it. The fact is that, except for his father, no one in his family has done anything wrong to the Su family. Even his father just wanted Uncle Su to learn a lesson. Director Zhong waved his hand. I'm afraid the Su family won't believe it. Don't mess around. Keep a low profile during this period, and don't provoke her. The other family didn't pay attention to you, but you were so active. When they realized that there was a fish that slipped through the net, they took advantage of it and dealt with you. Hearing his father-in-law describe himself as a fish that slipped through the net, Yang Suhong's face darkened again, but he still gritted his teeth and endured it. After nodding in agreement, he went out silently. Su Mo took the textile factory's car back to the Su family's villa. When she arrived at the door, Su Mo sent the person away and asked someone to pick her up in the afternoon. To the house to Su Mo when she went to Lujia village. Su Mo opened the gate and went in. The yard was not dirty. It must be that Su Tingda asked the person who looks after the house to clean it regularly. The front door. Su Mo opened the door. The furniture in the living room had been moved away long ago, so it looked empty, with a little dust on the floor. It was estimated that no one had come in since Fu Manhua and the others left. Su Mo found the previous bedroom according to her memory. She had heard from Fu Manhua before that the original owner's bedroom was well preserved and basically no furniture had been taken away. Su Mo went in and saw that the furnishings inside were indeed the same as she remembered. Su Mo put down her suitcase, opened the window to ventilate the room. went to the bathroom to get a basin of water, and wiped the room with a rag. I washed the sheets and quilt covers and hung them in the yard to dry. I also put the quilt in the yard to let the air and get rid of the musty smell. These things are just for show to others. She can just use the bedding in her own space to cover herself at night. After finishing the room, Sue Imo cleaned the public area again. While she was busy, she heard someone knocking on the door. Sue Imo looked out of the window and saw that the person knocking on the door was an uncle. She remembered that this man was called Uncle Lou. He used to be a servant of the Sue family and had always had a good relationship with the Sue family. So Sue Imo opened the door and went out. Uncle Lou saw Sue Imo coming out. There was a flash of joy in his eyes. "Miss Sue." "No, Comrade Sue, you're back. Are you doing well in the countryside? You won't go there this time, right?" The concern on Uncle Lou's face didn't seem fake. "Uncle Lou, I'm no longer in the countryside. I've returned to the city to work. I'm here on a business trip, and will leave again in a few days."
Sumo replied.
"It's good that we're back in the city. It's good that we're back in the city." Uncle Lou breathed a sigh of relief.
Kamrade.
"Comrade Tingda," Uncle Lou said, asking me to come and clean the yard from time to time. "I heard that someone had returned here, so I came to check on him." "Comrade Sue, is there anything I can help you with?" Sue Imo waved her hand. "I'll just clean it up casually. It's already done." "Well, I won't bother you anymore. I live in the first house on the street around the corner. If Comrade Sue needs any help, just come find me there." "Okay. Thank you for your hard work, Uncle Lou." Uncle Lou waved his hands. "It's not hard. It's not hard. If it weren't for the Sue family, their family would have starved to death long ago. This little thing wouldn't matter." After Uncle Lou left, Sue Imo continued to clean. When she was done, she closed the door, took some food from the space to fill her stomach, and went upstairs again, starting to dig according to her memory. The original owner's room was Western style. It was also customized by someone, and there were many small secret compartments for hiding things. Seeing that the furniture in the room was well preserved, those people should not have searched it much, and maybe the things in the secret compartments were still there. Sue Imo fiddled with the bedside according to her memory. Suddenly, a small grid popped out from the leather cushion on the headboard. Sue Imo took out a small notebook and the Rolex watch that she thought she had lost. Sue Imo opened the notebook, which was a diary written by the original owner. Sue Imo flipped through it briefly and found that the time span was quite long, from the age of 7 or 8 to the age of 14. No wonder she had no impression of it. The first part was a running account diary with a long time span, with only 2 or 3 entries a year. The longest one was about Su Zhongli's death. At that time, she was only in her early teens. Although her writing was immature, it was clear that the original owner was very sad. Flipping through the pages further, she found that Gung Chongqing's name suddenly appeared more frequently in the diary. Sue Imo keenly sensed that something was wrong. After flipping through a few more pages, Sue Imo was already confused. The original owner fell in love with Gung Chongqing when she was just beginning to fall in love, but Gung Chongqing seemed to have noticed it and started to avoid the original owner. After that, the original owner didn't write a diary for more than a year. When I wrote it again more than a year later, there were only 2 lines. "He's gone. If you don't want me, I don't want you either." After that, I never wrote again. There are water stains on the paper of this last article. The original owner must have cried when he wrote these 2 sentences. "Shumo?" So what's going on? Rensumo racked her brains, but could not remember what had happened between her and Gung Chongqing during this period. It seemed that everything related to Gung Chongqing had been deliberately forgotten by the original owner. Sue Imo covered her face. Oh God. Please send a thunderbolt to kill her. How could she face Uncle Gung in the future? After such a huge explosion, Sue Imo was so confused that she didn't even feel happy after getting her Rolex watch back. After putting the watch and diary into the space, Sue Imo thought about it and decided to pretend that she knew nothing and continued to get along with them the same way as before. After she came here, Gung Chongqing's attitude towards her has always been that of a junior, and he probably didn't take the original owner's youthful impulses to heart. Just be open and honest, pretending nothing happened, so no one will be embarrassed. Let this little episode disappear in the torrent of time. After figuring it out, Su Emo started fiddling with the secret compartments in the cabinets and wardrobes, but unfortunately, they were all empty. She didn't find anything. She didn't know if they were taken away by someone or if there was nothing there in the first place. Around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Han Jianchong and the driver came to pick up Su Emo and first took her to the R&D department to see the newly developed designs. During this period, the country's textile and dyeing technology level was still behind that of foreign countries. Foreign businessmen purchased my country's textiles more because of the low prices, and most of them bought gray cloth and dyed it themselves. The country itself is short of cloth, and people have difficulty in getting clothes. Su Emo feels the pain of selling so much cloth at such a low price. The fabrics with patterns are expensive, the dyeing process is not as good as that in foreign countries. The dyed colors are not bright enough, and the patterns are not favored by foreign merchants. When Su Emo communicated with the factory before, she suggested that the textile factory change its thinking and not pursue bright colors, but focus on patterns. China has such a long history, and any of the things left by our ancestors would be enough to amaze those foreigners. The leaders of the printing and dyeing department of the textile factory did have some ideas, but they did not dare to implement them before because they were afraid of being accused of restoring capitalism and leaving behind feudalism. Now that the order has been given from above and the Foreign Trade Center is taking the lead, everything is to create foreign exchange for the country, so naturally they have free rein. When Su Emo saw the samples dyed this time, her eyes lit up. Even if it were placed in later generations, it would be unconventional. Vintage pattern fabric at the same time, I also lament that too many talents were buried during this period. If this leader of the printing and dyeing department were to live in the future, he would definitely be a talent that all textile factories would be vying for. Su Emo expressed her love for these patterns actively and positively. In her opinion, these cloths will definitely be a hit at the autumn trade fair. The director of the printing and dyeing department breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that everyone at the Foreign Trade Center said it was a good idea. He had been under a lot of pressure to come up with these patterns and even gave a military order in front of the factory leaders. If it didn't work, he would inevitably be severely punished. The meeting, Director Zhong looked at these tricks and was somewhat hesitant. Comrade Su Emo, do you really think these designs will be liked by foreign businessmen? Director Zhong is a retired soldier. He is a straight man with no aesthetic sense. In his opinion, bright colors should be good-looking. He mainly considered the issue of sales. When these fabrics are sent to the exhibition, it is impossible to have only samples, but they must be produced in batches first. In this way, if foreign merchants place orders for small quantities, they can be delivered immediately so that they don't have to wait for every piece of goods, which would make foreign merchants think that their production capacity is problematic. These patterns are definitely not saleable in China, so who would dare to wear them abroad? If foreign merchants don't want them, then this batch of cloth will have to be stored in the warehouse. Who will bear the loss? Based on my understanding, I think they will like it,
Su Emo said.
Director Zhong started to think about it. The Su family was used to seeing good things. Su Tingqian had even studied abroad, so he must know more about foreigners' preferences than those of them who had never been abroad. With this in mind, Director Zhong made the decision, okay, let's produce a batch first according to Comrade Su Mo's suggestion. When Su Emo heard this, the corners of her mouth twitched slightly. This was really an attempt to drag her into this. If things got hard to sell, they would push the blame onto her and say it was her suggestion. Although she was optimistic about this batch of patterns, Director Zhong's behavior made her feel uncomfortable. I am just suggesting patterns based on my own understanding. I don't know anything about production. It is up to you, Director Zhong, to decide whether or not to produce, and how much to produce,
Su Emo said.
Director Zhong laughed and said, of course, I also believe in your vision, Comrade Su Emo. After the meeting, the textile factory treated Su Emo to dinner and sent a car to take her back to the villa. There is more than one textile factory in Haishur, a total of 37, of which 9 have products that can reach export quality. During her time in Haishur, Su Emo had to visit all 9 of them. The next day, Sue and Mo went to other textile factories, still looking at patterns and giving suggestions. After 3 or 4 days of hard work, most of the textile factories left, leaving only the last 3. Those 3 families were quite far away, and Sue and Mo was not planning to live in the villa anymore. Since she moved into the house, she realized that she was being watched. So in the past few days, every night when she came home, she would carry tools to clean the other 2 houses. The first time she went there, she left some subtle signs, but when she went back the next day, those signs had been damaged, indicating that someone had entered after she left. After Sue and Mo finished cleaning, she still left some signs, and the next day, people still went in. But starting from the 3rd day, all the signs were intact, which meant that those people came in to search for 2 days and found nothing. They must have concluded that Sue and Mo was just there to clean up. This is the opportunity Sue and Mo was waiting for. That day, after Sue and Mo came back, she went there to clean as usual. The main house had been cleaned, so Sue and Mo cleaned up the servants' room and the kitchen. The kitchens here all used the structure of a stove, and the entrance to the secret room was in the stove. Probably something like this. Those people probably didn't expect that someone would set the entrance to the secret room in the stove, so they searched for a long time but couldn't find it. Sue and Mo changed her clothes, put the big pot on the stove into the space, and carefully collected the ashes in the stove, as she would have to sprinkle them back on later. After finishing, Sue and Mo crawled into the stove from where the pot was, took a hammer and a screwdriver, and removed the bricks under the stove one by one. Soon, a hole sealed by wooden boards was revealed. Sue and Mo put the wooden board into the space and waited for a moment to allow the air to circulate for a while before turning on the flashlight and going down the rope ladder on the wall of the cave. It was only about 4 or 5 meters deep, and Sue and Mo went down quickly. After going down, there was a passage about 1 meter wide. After walking along the passage for about a few meters, a door appeared. There was a lock on the door. Sue and Mo didn't have the key, but that didn't bother her. She took the tools and poked it open in no time. After opening the door, there was a secret room filled with wooden boxes. It looked like there were at least 30 or 40 boxes. Sue and Mo didn't have time to look at them. She put them all into the space, locked the door, and went out the same way. After coming up, Sue and Mo covered the floor with wooden boards again, laid the bricks again, and even added some cement in the gaps between them. Sue and Mo got the cement from the family compound. That day, she came back from asking Su Tingqian for the entrance and happened to run into family members in the same row repairing the floor with cement. Sue and Mo took the opportunity to ask for some, saying that some places at home also needed repairs. Sue and Mo didn't ask for much, so the other person gave it to her. After taking it home, Sue and Mo put it into her space when no one was around. Now, it comes in handy. After the bricks were laid, Sue and Mo scattered the stove ash that she had collected earlier back in almost the same pattern as before and finally put the pot back, and everything was back to normal. Her clothes and tidying up the kitchen again, Sue and Mo returned with the cleaning supplies in her hand. After returning home, Sue and Mo followed her usual routine from the previous few days. She took a shower and washed her clothes, then closed the doors and windows and went back to her room to rest. After returning to the room, Sue and Mo closed the curtains tightly and then took out the box from the space to check. 34 boxes of stuff in total. 6 boxes of gold, 4 boxes of silver dollars, and 2 boxes of various currencies, including US dollars, British pounds, Hong Kong dollars, and currencies of some small Southeast Asian countries. The 10 boxes of antiques are all valuable porcelain and antique calligraphy and paintings that are well known in later generations. There were 6 boxes of jewelry, mainly jade, gemstones, and gold ornaments. Each one was very extraordinary. In the future, the starting price of each item would be in the tens of millions. The remaining 6 boxes were all guns and ammunition. I have to say that Su Zhongli really made thorough preparations. Before, when Sue and Mo watched TV dramas, she often heard words like Jiangnan is rich and Jiangnan merchants are rich enough to rival a country. In the past, she just heard it, but now, she has truly felt it. The background of the Jiangnan wealthy businessmen was far beyond Su Mo's imagination. In the secret room in Haishur alone, if you add those hidden in Yangcheng, the number is really considerable. This was only what Su Zhongli had left behind as a backup. When Su Zhongqing and his family went abroad, they also took a large number of things with them, which was definitely not less than what Su Zhongli had left behind as a backup. Adding to the money the two brothers had previously donated to support the war of resistance against Japan, as well as the large amount of property they handed over after the founding of the People's Republic of China, the Su family's wealth, while not to mention being rich enough to rival a country, is definitely one of the best in the country. In the future, Su Mo was just an ordinary middle-class child, but now she has suddenly become the nth generation of a top wealthy family. For a moment, she was not quite used to it. Thanks to the book, she experienced what it was like to be a top-notch wealthy second generation. After all these years, the property left by her ancestors is enough for Su Mo to live a peaceful life. After packing up her things, Su Mo went to bed. The next day, Su Mo packed her bedding, locked the door, picked up her luggage, and got on the car that came to pick her up from another textile factory. After another busy week, Su Mo and the other two finally reunited and took a plane back to Yangcheng. It was not until I got on the plane that the feeling of being monitored disappeared. The autumn trade fair will be held in October. Not only are the factories under time pressure and have heavy tasks, but they are too. In June, news came that the Country Trade Council would have a delegation of 200 companies to attend the autumn trade fair. As the organizer, the leaders above have worked hard to attract so many foreign investors to them, so they must hand in a satisfactory answer, so as not to let down the leaders' attention and trust. Arriving in Yangcheng, Su Mo called Su Tingda to report that she was safe before going home, and then she praised the Yang family in front of him. The more she understood the Su family's wealth, the more she hated the people in the original book who had seized the Su family's property and caused the Su family to be destroyed. The big villain couldn't be dealt with now, so she killed the small one first. Su Tingda didn't know the fate of the Su family in the original book. As for the Yang family, he probably took revenge on them once and then didn't bother to care about them anymore. After all, he still had a lot of important things to do, and such a small person was not worth his attention. Su Tingda really didn't pay attention to the Yang family's affairs anymore. After hearing what Su Mo said, he snorted coldly. He had no time to deal with the Yang family, but he jumped out and made a fuss, thinking that he was great just because he hooked up with the factory director. This factory used to belong to him. Not to mention Yang Smong, it was not impossible for him to get rid of factory director Zhang. Okay, uncle got it.
Shutinde responded.
After applying the Yang family's eye drops, Su Mo reminded Su Tingda to pay attention to the Gong family, especially to check on Gong Ye's recent situation. As the male protagonist of the original book, Gong Yi certainly has his own highlights and should not be underestimated. At the level of the uncle, it is estimated that more attention will be paid to Grandpa Gong. Su Tingda thought that Su Mo had heard some rumors in High City and said that he would pay attention to it. After hanging up the phone, Su Mo went home. The two children were still in the nursery, so Su Mo took out the materials she brought back and started reading them. School was almost over. Su Mo went to the nursery to pick up the two little ones. Anan and Lulu were very happy to see Su Mo coming back. Lulu ran over like a little cannonball, hugged Su Mo's legs, and kept shouting "Mom" and "Mom." His eyes became red as he shouted. Su Mo was on a business trip for half a month. This was the first time Lele had been away from her mother for such a long time since she was born. Even Anan came over and hugged Su Mo's other leg, raised her head and looked at Su Mo with sparkling eyes, with admiration in her eyes. Su Mo picked up the two children, kissed each of them, and asked, "Do you miss your mother?" "I thought about it." Lele answered first, and Anan also nodded. Lu Xiaolan was very happy to see Su Mo coming back, and she also felt relieved. Anan was fine, but Lulu had reached the limit of her patience these days, asking dozens of times a day, "When will Mom come back?" and crying from time to time. If the third sister-in-law didn't come back, she would really collapse. It was really hard for her to adapt to the fact that the baby, who was usually very easy to take care of, suddenly turned into a noisy little devil. This couple are both people who do great things. After the third brother went to training, there was no way to contact him at all. The third sister-in-law went on a business trip for half a month. Except for a phone call in the middle, there was no news from her at other times. She and Uncle Sue and Aunt Mo have been troubled by the little boy Lele these past few nights. He cried so much that several families came to ask what was going on. Su Tichyen and Mo Yurong came home from get off work and were very happy to see their daughter back. After dinner, Su Mo distributed the gifts she brought back from High City to several people. The two children received toys and snacks, while the adults each received a piece of fashionable domestic cloth. Su Mo had visited so many textile factories, so it was easy for her to buy some good cloth. Before going to bed, Su Mo went to her parents' room and gave the Rolex watch to Mo Yurong. Mo Yurong took a look and felt that it looked familiar. "Isn't this the piece you had before?" Su Mo nodded. "I found it in the secret compartment at the head of the bed." "You went home?"
Sutindian frowned, somewhat disapproving.
"Yes, I went back to take a look. After all, I've been away from home for too long."
Dad, don't worry.
"I went with someone, not alone." Su Mo didn't want to say too much, so as not to worry her parents. "Mom, wear this watch to tell the time." Their previous watches were taken away by those people when they were sent down to the countryside. After returning to Yangcheng, they only bought one for Su Tingqian to wear because he had to check the time during class. Mo Yurong did not have a watch. Su Tingqian waved his hand. "You wear this Rolex, and give yours to your mother. She's a dorm manager, and she can't wear an expensive watch." Su Mo thought so too. So she gave the watch she was wearing to Mo Yurong and kept the Rolex herself. She faces in her job are foreign businessmen, so it's okay if she has the conditions to decorate the store a little. The watch Shi Wenbin wears is a Rolex. After returning, Su Mo threw herself into her busy work. In late August, Lu Changzheng came back from training. He was tanned and had injuries on his body, which were said to be from training. But Su Mo didn't think it was likely, and she thought he was probably on a mission. Third training, the troops selected 30 people to form a special team, which was directly under the command of the military region headquarters. Lu Changzheng was the team leader, and there were 2 deputy captains. This team will be equipped with the best equipment in the army, receive the most rigorous training, and perform the most difficult tasks. The prototype of special forces began to appear in our army. In early September, because a certain monkey country announced that it would include some islands of the Nansha Islands into its territory and repeatedly provoked disputes, the special team, which had just rested in Yangcheng for a short time, welcomed their first mission since its establishment. Lu Changzheng and his men set off again in a hurry. In mid-September, trade delegations from various places who were going to participate in the autumn trade fair arrived in Yangcheng one after another and stayed in the Yangcheng Military Region guest house. After everyone gathered, they began political studies for about 10 days. The most important thing in learning leadership ideas and foreign affairs discipline is to establish vigilance against sabotage by enemy spies, how to detect them, and how to respond effectively. In addition to ideological studies, the army also sent people to teach some simple fighting skills so that everyone could have some self-protection ability to avoid being killed instantly after discovering enemy spies. In early October, the Ministry of Commerce, the Guangdong Provincial Government, the Yangcheng Government, and the Foreign Trade Center were all engaged in intensive work. Foreign businessmen had begun to arrive in Yangcheng one after another. The participating trade delegations also began to enter the exhibition hall to set up their exhibitions. We have repeatedly instructed that security should be strengthened, foreign business orders should be provided and met, and housing and car issues for domestic and foreign guests should be properly addressed. In addition to mobilizing all the taxis of Yangcheng Automobile Company, the Guangdong Provincial Government also set up a special tricycle team to meet the guests' car needs. Because this time, participants came from more than 150 countries and regions around the world, the largest number in history. Su Mo was determined to show off, so she was very busy during this period, leaving home early and returning late every day. Seeing how busy their daughter was, Mr. and Mrs. Su Tingqian had no choice but to move to the family compound after work to help take care of the child. Su Tingqian felt bad when he saw his 2 grandsons who were eager to see their parents every day. These 2 are so busy, it's really hard for the child. If the child's aunt hadn't come to take care of him, what would they do? Momo just started working, so she must perform. This export trade fair is a national event, so, of course, she is to do her best. Mo Yurong spoke for her daughter. Su Tiqian sighed. This is the bad thing about marrying a soldier. Look at that kid Lu Chongjing. He can only stay at home for a few days a year. He is out on missions every day. There's nothing we can do about it. The country needs us. Let's not talk about this. We are here, so we should just help as much as possible. I know, I was just saying that. Su Tiqian also felt sorry for his daughter. It was not easy to be a military wife, but his little princess was about to become a strong woman. Thanks to the efforts of all parties, the 34th Export Commodities Fair opened smoothly as scheduled on October 15th. Su Mo was assigned to the Transaction Negotiation Group to assist various trading groups in signing orders with foreign companies. With her fluent foreign language and excellent negotiation skills, Su Mo helped the trading group she was in charge of sign many orders, making the leaders of those trading groups very happy. On this day, when Su Mo was introducing cloth to foreign businessmen at the booth of High City Textile Factory, she noticed an Oriental man in a suit standing not far away, looking at her from time to time. After the foreign businessman signed the order and sent the person away, Su Mo saw that the man was still there, so she walked over and asked in English if there was anything she could do to help him. The man smiled and replied in pure Chinese, "I am also Chinese." The man was quite tall, about 1.80 meters, wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He had a handsome face and an elegant temperament, looking like a modest gentleman. "Hello. Sir, are you interested in our fabrics?" Su Mo immediately switched to Chinese and asked. The man did not reply but said, "Miss, you look very much like an old friend of mine."
什么?
Is this kind of cheesy pickup method also popular in foreign countries? Really? Su Mo smiled helplessly, but politely. Yes, she looks a lot like my great-uncle's wife. I've seen her photo at home before, and she looks at least 70% alike. The man looked at the work ID pinned on Su Mo's clothes and said, "My last name is also Su, and my Chinese name is Su Jing. My ancestors were from High City."
Su må jeg spikbalsskrenk.
Could it be what she thought? So she stretched out her hand and said, "Hello, my name is Su Mo." Su Jing's smile was more genuine this time. He reached out and shook hands with Su Mo. "Hello." Su Jing came back this time at the request of Su Zhongqing to see if he could find out any news about his great-uncle's family. Before returning, Su Zhongqing gave him a crash course in information about Su Zhongli's family, showed him photos of Su Zhongli's family, and told him the names of his uncles and their children. "She looks so much like my great-uncle's wife, and the name matches hers, so it seems like she must be his cousin." In recent years, due to the turmoil in the country, Su Zhongqing did not dare to contact his nephews in China except for sending money, for fear of bringing disaster to them. Receiving the news from Su Tingda at the beginning of last year, he became even more worried, so he asked his children and grandchildren to return to China during the trade fair to see if they could get any news. During the autumn trade fair last year, Su Jing's father Su Tingyi came back once. He even found an excuse to go to High City and walked around the villa, only to find that it was deserted. They had been in contact with High City before, and they didn't know Su Tingda's contact information, nor did they dare to inquire more, for fear of being caught as spies. These foreign businessmen have a limited time to stay in the country, and when the time is up, they can only leave in a hurry by boat. Instead of finding out any useful information, they got worse news, which made Su Zhongqing even more worried. The old man has not been in good health for the past 2 years, and his children and grandchildren are afraid that he'll be worried, so they plan to come back again this year. Originally, Su Tingyi was supposed to come back, but he fell ill before leaving, so Su Jing came instead. Su Jing has always been calm and steady in his work. He has been in China for nearly a month and has a certain understanding of the situation here, so he did not rush to recognize Su Mo. Instead, he changed the subject. "My friends all call me Louis, and Miss Su can also call me Louis." Not long after Su Jing was born, his family immigrated abroad. He had no memory of China at all, and only knew some information from the accounts of his grandparents, parents, and uncles. The name Su Jing is more like a nickname to him.
Only family members call him that.
Outside, others call him Louis. Sue Mo understood and immediately changed her tone. Okay, Mr. Louis. Is it convenient for Miss Sue to introduce the products to me? Su Jing asked politely, without showing anything special.
Of course, this is my job.
Su Mo replied, and then took Su Jing with her to introduce the products at the exhibition to him. Su Mo is beautiful and speaks foreign languages well. Many foreign businessmen who have met before came to ask Su Mo to accompany them. Everyone is used to it, so they didn't think Su Jing's behavior was abrupt. Although Su Jing came back to China to look for someone, he is a businessman. Since he is here, he must do some business. Overseas Chinese and traditional Chinese food and porcelain are very popular abroad. Although people have left, some habits engraved in their bones cannot be changed. Those who grew up abroad may be fine, but the older generation is not. Therefore, the food exported from China has always had good sales and considerable profits. They own several supermarkets and have always purchased goods from Gangcheng. The prices of goods in Gangcheng are not cheap either. Now that they have better channels, they naturally place orders from here. This trade fair has been held for some years. Before, their family had not established a firm foothold in Country M and had no time to attend. By the time they were able to participate, the domestic situation suddenly became severe, and the review of overseas Chinese was extremely strict, so the elders gave up the idea of returning to attend the fair. This time they went to great lengths to come back and get some information. In order to obtain the qualifications, their family also used a lot of connections and spent a lot of money. Merchants selecting products at the Canton Fair in 1961 according to Su Jing's needs. Su Mo took him to the tea, canned food, grain, textiles, and other exhibition areas and introduced them to him one by one. After turning to the negotiation area, Su Jing placed several large orders with Su Mo, with the amount reaching $7 to $8 million. The person in charge of the transaction negotiation team was very happy and smiled happily. Su Mo was really a capable person. Basically, everyone she took out would make a deal. Su Mo didn't expect Su Jing to place so many orders. She was a little surprised. After all, the items he ordered were not high-priced, so the quantity was quite large. Mr. Louis, this. The foreign businessmen she had brought before only placed orders worth $2 million at most. Although Su Jing didn't say it explicitly, she could guess that Su Jing was probably the grandson of his great-uncle. She didn't know if he placed so many orders for her sake and to help her achieve sales. We used to buy these products from Hong Kong or Southeast Asia. Now that we have returned to our homeland, we naturally have to give back. I am naturally very happy to be able to make more contributions to my homeland. The better the country develops, the more confident we overseas Chinese will be. Su Jing's words were very beautiful. He is a businessman. The price of these things in China is nearly half of that in other places. He naturally places orders according to the maximum shipment volume, which can also save a lot of costs. Although it is a little troublesome to attend the conference, the profit is still very lucrative. The manufacturer who came to sign the contract heard Su Jing's words. They all praised him for his righteousness, and their liking for Su Jing rose to a new level. It's better to have our own people. Unlike other foreign businessmen, they have many demands and try to lower the price. Canton Fair transaction negotiation and order signing scene. After Su Jing signed the contracts with various manufacturers, Su Mo escorted Su Jing out of the club. When they parted, Su Jing asked with a smile. Miss Su's introduction was very professional. Thank you very much for your help. I wonder when it would be convenient for you to have a meal together? Su Mo guessed that Su Jing must have something to say to her, so she smiled and said, maybe in a few days. The unit has political requirements and cannot engage in corruption or bribery, but if a foreign business partner with whom you have a good cooperation invites you to dinner, you can still attend at your discretion to build a good relationship, which will help the foreign business partner continue to place orders. Okay, then I'll invite Miss Su again in a few days. After Su Jing finished speaking, he got in a taxi and returned to the hotel where he was staying. Su Jing was also surprised that he found the person so easily. He had actually been visiting the exhibition for a few days, and today was the first time he ran into Su Mo. The first time he saw her, he instinctively knew that this person was the one he was looking for. Sometimes fate is really amazing. He had thought that since his uncle's family lived in such a backward environment, his descendants would be mediocre, if not unsuccessful. He had never expected that they would be so outstanding. Su Mo, who had never been abroad, spoke English as well as he did, who grew up in country M. Although her accent was not as pure, it was better than many immigrants. For example, his mother's English level was probably not even half as good as Su Mo's. Moreover, he is very generous in dealing with people. He is not timid in front of foreign guests, unlike other people who always try to please foreign guests. In such an environment, he must have put a lot of effort to develop such confidence. This made him curious about his great-uncle's other two grandsons. He heard that they were both soldiers, so they might be better than Su Mo. He also wondered who was better between them and his brothers. Over the years, whenever my grandmother and grandfather quarreled, she would often say that my grandfather was not as capable as my great-uncle, but that he had a better life than my great-uncle. Su Jing also has a strong desire to win. Since his grandfather cannot beat his great-uncle, if there is a chance, they can have a competition between their generations. After getting off work in the evening, Su Mo secretly told Su Tingqian that she met a man named Su Jing today, who might be the grandson of her great-uncle. Su Tingqian was shocked. The son his second cousin had before going abroad was named Su Jing. When Su Mo told Su Tingqian about Su Jing's visit to her, Su Tingqian was basically certain that Su Jing was his second cousin's son because Su Mo looked like her grandmother. Did he say anything to you? Su Tingqian was a little nervous. At this time, if he suddenly came to see him, his daughter might get into trouble. Su Mo waved her hands. He didn't say anything. He is quite sensible. He still has orders worth millions under my control. However, he asked me to have dinner with him in a few days.
He must have something to say.
Su Tingqian pondered for a moment. Be careful. If he makes any bad requests, don't give him face. Just refuse directly. My uncle is a good person, but his descendants grew up abroad, and he has never had any contact with them, so he must be on guard against them. Su Mo nodded. I know, don't worry, Dad. Then, Su Tingqian told Su Mo about the situation of Su Zhongqing's family. Su Zhongqing had 3 sons, the eldest son Su Tingbang, the second son Su Tingyi, and the third son Su Tingli. The eldest son was 1 year older than Su Tingda and was the oldest in their generation, followed by Su Tingda and Su Tingqian, the youngest, the 5th. When they immigrated, your first and second cousins each had a son. Your first uncle wrote back saying that after they arrived in country M, they had 3 more grandchildren. I haven't met the younger generation, so I don't understand them. Your first cousin is more profit-oriented. If you run into him at a trade fair in the future, be careful. Your second cousin is relatively righteous. Your third cousin is more casual. He is an artist and studies painting. Su Tingqian went abroad to study with Su Tingli before. Su Tingli has a great talent for painting. I don't know if he has made a name for himself abroad over the years. Lu Changzheng returned at the end of October. He had just led his team back to the army to report the situation, and before he had time to go home, he was sent to the hotel by his leader to assist in protecting an important foreign guest of a certain team. Lu Changzheng selected 4 or 5 smarter ones and set off. Soon as I entered the hotel, I saw his wife in the cafe on the first floor. She was wearing a plaid long skirt and had beautiful braids. It was obvious that she had dressed up carefully. She was talking and laughing with a man in a suit. The other people who came with him also saw it. 2 of them had been to Lu Changzheng's house for dinner before and had seen Su Mo before. They touched Lu Changzheng and said, "Boss, sister-in-law." "Yes, I saw her. She is working. Don't disturb her," Lu Changzheng said, striding towards the elevator. However, his face, which was not white to begin with, seemed to have become a little darker. Su Mo noticed someone staring at her and turned to look. She saw several soldiers walking quickly inside. Although she could only see their backs, Su Mo recognized one of them as Lu Changzheng.
Zu Montag was surprised.
When did he come back? Why didn't she see him go home? Su Jing also followed her gaze and asked, "What's wrong?" "I seem to see my lover," Su Mo said.
No.
Su Jing was confused for a moment. then reacted and asked in surprise, "Are you married?" "Yes, the child is over 1 year old." Su Jing was so shocked that he didn't know what to say. "You seem to be only 20 years old?" Su Mo smiled and said, "People in China get married early." Su Jing instantly felt mixed emotions. In Country M, 20 years old is the right age to go to college. Thinking of the adopted daughter of the family, the so-called Miss Su, who is being pampered by her uncle's family. And this genuine Miss Su not only got married and had children, but also had to work hard. Su Jing felt bad. Maybe it was because of blood relationship. He liked Su Mo very much when he saw her for the first time. "Is your spouse a soldier?" He looked at the men just now, and they should be wearing military uniforms.
주문하리.
Soldiers here seem to have a high status. Marrying a soldier seems to be similar to marrying a wealthy businessman in the United States. Su Jing feels a little better. "I came back this time for another purpose, which is to see if I can help my grandfather find out about his relatives."
Oh.
"Did Mr. Lewis find out?" Su Jing waved his hand. "I just go with the flow. I'll find out if I can. I'm not trying to be deliberate. I just want to see if the other person is doing well. If they're doing well, we'll be relieved. Mr. Lewis is so righteous. Your family will surely be well. Thank you for your good words."
Shuhing smile.
Since they were all fine, he could report to his grandfather when he returned. After getting the information he wanted, Su Jing started discussing business with Su Mo again. After all, there were eyes and ears everywhere, and it was not easy to talk too much about private matters. Su Jing told Su Mo about many best-selling products abroad, and Su Mo wrote them down one by one. The two had a very happy chat. It was almost time, so Su Mo said goodbye and left. She came to see Su Jing during her lunch break because she had to go back to the exhibition hall to work in the afternoon. After Su Jing watched Su Mo leave, he went back to his room. As soon as he got out of the elevator, he ran into a few soldiers in green uniforms, one of whom gave him a sharp look. Su Jing was a little confused. He didn't seem to have offended these soldiers, right? Could it be that he had been chatting with Su Mo for too long and was suspected of being a potential spy? Su Jing also sighed, not knowing when the situation would improve, so that relatives separated from each other could recognize each other and meet each other. After Su Mo returned, she handed over the useful information she had recorded to the center's leaders. They are the ones who face foreign businessmen directly and are most susceptible to temptation, so the leaders are very strict in terms of ideology and politics. If they meet with foreign businessmen alone, they have to report what they talked about when they come back. After the leader looked at the information recorded by Su Mo, he had to say that there was a lot of useful information, which should have been obtained through in-depth market research. It has to be said that beautiful and capable do have many advantages at work. However, leaders will disdain the use of such sugar-coated bullets. Moreover, many of the foreign businessmen here are not good enough, and not every female comrade is like Su Mo, who can overpower others with her momentum. All I can say is that Su Mo is just an individual case and cannot be replicated. In the evening, Su Mo returned home. It was almost 9 o'clock. There was no other way. During the exhibition, the staff had to stay after the exhibition closed every day to report on the day's work, and the most important thing was to report whether there were any enemy spies that day. There were 2,000 or 3,000 people, and even if each person said a word, it would take a lot of time. When Su Mo came back, she saw Lele was still awake. She was sitting in the living room with her hands folded, sulking. Su Mo also knew that she had neglected the child these days, so she apologized carefully. "Hey, who made our little baby Lele angry?" Lele snorted and turned away from looking at Su Mo. Su Mo knew that he was angry with her, so she smiled and said, "When Mom was working today, she saw the uncle who made cakes. He said that after he was done with his work for a few days, he would make a cake for Xiao Lele." Lele wanted to get angry, but couldn't resist the temptation of the cake, so he turned around and asked, "Really? Really? Let's make a pinky promise." Su Mo said, and made a pinky promise with Lele, who instantly smiled again. Su Tiqian and then watched from the side, also speechless. This boy was very smart, but who would have thought he was a foodie? After comforting Lele, Su Mo asked, I saw Changjing today. Is he back? Su Tingqian was stunned. I didn't see it. When Lu Xiaolan heard Su Mo say that, she also came out of the room. Third brother is back. I didn't see him back. Su Mo guessed that Lu Changjing must have a mission, which was why he didn't come home. Not long after he finished speaking, Lu Changjing came back with a luggage bag and explained that he had a temporary mission, and that was why he did not go home first. Went to bed at night. Lu Changjing struggled for a long time, but finally asked, "Wife, who was that person at noon?" Although he trusted his wife, he felt very uncomfortable because the man looked so well matched with her. I have an uncle who went abroad before. That man is my uncle's grandson and my cousin,
Su Mo said.
Lu Changjing felt relieved instantly after hearing this, and even his tone of voice unconsciously became more cheerful. That's a coincidence. When Su Mo saw Lu Changjing's expression, she knew that he had wrong thoughts and glared at him. This is not a coincidence. He came here on purpose. Grandpa received the news from my uncle and was a little worried. That's why he took the opportunity of the trade fair to let his grandson come back to see him. Thanks to everyone's joint efforts, the autumn trade fair closed successfully on November 15th. That evening, the organizers held closing receptions at the Oriental Hotel, the People's Building, and the Luhua Hotel simultaneously. A total of more than 4,000 foreign businessmen, overseas Chinese, and compatriots from Hong Kong and Macau attended the closing reception. The next day, the People's Daily even devoted a page to reporting on the incident. Newspapers at the time the trade fair ended, the staff began to count the transaction volume in full swing. The results lived up to the expectations of the leaders, with transaction volume exceeding $1.5 billion. You know, in 1973, the total foreign trade volume of the country just exceeded 10 billion. The autumn fair alone reached 1.5 billion, plus the spring fair. The contribution of the export commodity fair to China's foreign trade cannot be underestimated. It is also a satisfactory answer to the leaders who have devoted a lot of effort to ensure the smooth progress of the trade fair. After statistics, it was found that among all the traders, Su Mo alone completed transactions worth more than 80 million, making her the well-deserved sales champion. As a result, Su Mo began to come into the sight of senior leaders. Su Mo's performance was so outstanding that she naturally deserved a reward. After finishing the work, the center leader praised Su Mo very much at the meeting, promoted Su Mo to a higher level, and increased her salary from 48 yuan to 57 yuan, and her welfare benefits were also increased as appropriate. At time, those who had worked for several years without getting promoted felt mixed emotions. After Su Mo returned to the office, she found that some of her male colleagues looked at her differently, with a hint of a desire to fight. In the eyes of some gay men, if can do logistical work peacefully and are beautiful, which makes them feel pleasing to the eye, they will naturally be more tolerant. If it is too strong or even more capable than them, then no matter how beautiful she is in their eyes, there is something wrong with her, and they can find a lot of problems with her everywhere. Su Mo noticed it and was prepared to be criticized. She would not suppress herself because of the jealousy of a few mediocre people. Sure enough, a few days later, Yi Wenbin received an anonymous letter of complaint, reporting that Su Mo had an affair with a foreign businessman. After seeing this, Yi Wenbin was so angry that he laughed. He suppressed the letter of complaint, called everyone in the department together for a meeting, and directly and publicly criticized the anonymous person who wrote the letter. He felt ashamed for this group of grown men who did not want to learn from others and work hard to achieve better results in the next trade fair, but instead engaged in such shady and treacherous activities against him. Seeing the director angry, the group of people dared not breathe. Yi Wenbin had a strong backstage, and ordinary people could not touch him at all. After Yi Wenbin finished scolding the man, he reminded Su Mo to be more careful with her words and actions during this period of time, so as to avoid being caught by others. Su Mo was still very grateful for Yi Wenbin's protection and immediately said that she would be cautious. This situation did not last long. A week later, news came that Su Mo was praised in front of the reporting group, and all traders were called upon to learn from her. The center immediately found Su Mo and asked her to prepare and explain to the people in the center how to better negotiate the deal. After Su Mo got the news, she was also relieved. She knew that she had won the bet. It would be much easier for her to do things in the future if she caught the leader's eye. Su Mo did not hide anything and taught everyone everything she knew and could say, and the class lasted for 3 or 4 days in a row. Yi Wenbin once again looked at Su Mo with admiration. This was truly a family tradition. Even if she stopped doing business, some things were engraved in her bones. Yi Wenbin was aware of Su Mo's situation. After all, his family had a cooperative relationship with the Su family, and he had also received instructions from the old man to protect the Su family when appropriate. Time flies, and it is the end of December in a blink of an eye. A sudden cold front hit Guangzhou, and winter arrived in an instant. Lu Xiaolan was wearing autumn clothes the day before and a cotton jacket the next day, but she was still shivering with cold. Third sister-in-law, didn't you say that the south isn't cold? Why do I feel it's colder than where we are? It happened to be the weekend, and Su Mo was at home resting. She had been too busy to spend time with her children some time ago, but now that she was free, whenever she had a day off, she didn't send her children to the nursery, but stayed at home to play with them. Lu Xiaolan also took the opportunity to take a rest today. I once heard a joke that the cold in the north is a physical attack, while the cold in the south is a magical attack. Su Mo said with a smile.
What?
Lu Xiaolan didn't understand. It means that the north is dry and cold, so as long as you dress warmly, you won't feel that cold. But the south is humid, and even the quilt is cold, the kind that chills you to the bone. Yes, yes, yes. Lu Xiaolan agreed. She slept all night last night, but she didn't feel how warm the quilt was. When she got up to go to the bathroom, she felt cold again when she came back. It's not like their place, where they can heat the Kong, so once she got into bed, it would be warm. Third sister-in-law, why don't we have a Kong here? It's so hard to endure this winter. Su Mo smiled. The cold weather here is only for a short time, just a few days, at most 10 days or half a month. When the cold wind passes, it will warm up again. When you go to bed at night, take a hot water bottle, fill it with hot water, and put it in the quilt. Warm the quilt before sleeping, and you will feel more comfortable. Su Mo suggested. At the same time, I also thought about buying 2 hot water bottles for my parents and Grandpa Zhang. Lu Xiaolan, a young girl, felt cold, and the old man must feel even colder. No need. Bring An and Lulu over to sleep with you at night. A child's body heat is more effective than a hot water bottle. Lu Chongzheng happened to come in and quickly suggested when he heard his wife's words. It was a cold day, so his wife brought the child back home to sleep. He was far away from his wife and couldn't even hug her. Lele was not happy. I want to sleep with my mom. You little rascal, your aunt loves you so much and she feels cold now. Shouldn't you sleep with her? Lele thought about it and thought that it was the case. So he said, then let my sister sleep with my aunt. Sister can only sleep on one side, and aunt is cold on both sides. The father and son battled wits and courage for a long time, and finally Lu Chongzheng won and successfully tricked Lele into sleeping with Lu Xiaolan. In the evening, Lu Chongzheng, who successfully married his wife, was extremely satisfied. 2 days later, Su Mo received a letter from Lu Yuji. After Su Mo came back from a business trip in High City last time, she sent some cloth and local specialties to the Lu family. The first and second wives also mailed some mountain products to her, and everyone began to exchange letters occasionally. In the letter, Lu Yuji told Su Mo that Yang Jingming had remarried, and no one knew what kind of connections his family had used to marry the daughter of another brigade captain. After reading the letter, Su Mo put it away and did not show it to Lu Xiaolan to avoid upsetting her. Su Mo felt uncomfortable just thinking about it. She didn't know how Yang Jingming felt when he had to face his former and current father-in-law at the weekly meeting. On December 30th, Sunday, Su Mo made an appointment with her parents, and the family went to the department store to buy some things for the new year. It's almost 1974. The Chinese New Year is early this year, and it will be on January 23rd. It's better to buy things early to avoid being late and having the good things picked up by others. At the end of every year, whether it is a department store in the city or a supply and marketing cooperative in the countryside, they will release a batch of defective products that do not require tickets so that ordinary people can buy things and have a good new year. Therefore, the department store was crowded with people. Lu Chongjing looked at the sea of people and the corners of his mouth twitched. He was thinking about telling the three ladies that he would lead the way and ask them to follow him closely, but when he turned around, he found that the three ladies had already slipped into the crowd thanks to their agile bodies. Lu Chongjing, what are you standing here for? Hurry up and squeeze in. Don't block the way. When she turned around, she was looked down upon by her father-in-law again. At this time, Lele, who was riding on Lu Chongjing's shoulder, also stabbed him. Dad, hurry up. Mama's gone too far. Lu Chongjing silently covered his chest, as he was always the one who got hurt. After sighing, Lu Chongjing began to push forward. After all, he had received formal training. If he couldn't squeeze through the common people, it would be unacceptable. If he couldn't show off in front of his mother-in-law, he could show off in front of his father-in-law. Fortunately, I'm not wearing a military uniform today, otherwise I wouldn't be able to move freely. With Lu Chongjing leading the way in front, Su Tingqian felt quite comfortable walking behind within and in his arms. This son-in-law is only useful at times like this. Su Mo and the other two squeezed to the place where cloth was sold first, and each of them grabbed a piece of defective cloth, not caring about the pattern or color, as long as they could grab it first. Because the defective cloth is limited, in order to ensure that more people can buy it, the department store only releases a few hundred pieces every day. They are all cut, each 7 feet long, just enough to make an adult's garment. Therefore, in the cloth-selling area, a group of people would gather around the department store as soon as it opened, and grab the defective cloth as soon as it came out, relying on agility and quick eyes and hands. The skilled ones could grab some fashionable patterns. Several employees from the department store's security department surrounded the area, scanning the area sharply like radars, for fear that someone would steal the cloth. These cloths are all 7 feet each, and the prices are fixed. Cotton cloth is $1.50, twill cloth is $2.50, and khaki cloth is $3. People come to buy. They all have change ready. After grabbing the cloth, they quickly give the money to the salesperson, get a receipt, and then they can leave. Each piece of cloth has a receipt, and there are security personnel checking at the exit, so basically there will be no theft of cloth. What was released this time were all cotton cloth. Su Mo unfolded all 3 pieces of cloth and looked at them. Although they were said to be defective cloth, they actually didn't have many defects. It was just that the color was a little off. People who were particular about the city might find them disliked, but for people in the countryside, they were the best cloth. Su Mo planned to send these back to Lujia village and make a new piece of clothing for each of the 3 elderly people. As for my parents, I can just buy ready-made clothes for them. Then I can buy some wool and knit a sweater for each of them since they were not busy at work. Before, they knitted with bad wool with bad colors, which is no longer suitable for them to wear now. After grabbing the cloth, the family went directly to the 2nd floor, where items were more expensive and there were fewer people. Su Mo bought a new set of clothes for her parents and the 2 children, bought a top for herself and Lu Xiaolan, and a white shirt for Lu Chongjing, spending a total of about 100 yuan. As for pants, there are almost no styles of pants these days, so you might as well just grab some cloth and make them yourself. When Lu Xiaolan saw that Su Mo also bought clothes for her, she was reluctant to accept it, but Su Mo insisted, so she accepted it. She just turned around and pulled some cloth, saying that she wanted to make clothes for the 2 little ones. In addition to the coat, Su Mo also bought Lu Xiaolan a pair of small leather shoes. Thanks to her help in taking care of the children, she and Lu Chongjing could work so smoothly. The family shopped until mid-afternoon before leaving the department store carrying large and small bags. After returning home, Lu Chongjing took the things he wanted to send back to his hometown and went to the post office to mail them. It was a long way to go, so he had to send them early so that they could be received before the new year. In addition to cloth, they also bought a lot of nutritional supplements, local specialties, and snacks for the children. Lu Xiaolan also bought a pair of Jiefeng brand rubber shoes for each of the 3 elderly people. Lele was at home. taking out the new toys and candies he had bought and playing peacefully with them. Seeing him like that, Anan said, "I don't want it. I'll give it all to you." Lele was flattered and asked uncertainly, "You really don't want it?" Anan waved her hands, "No, it's something for children." She had played with it before because she had never seen it before and was just curious, but now that she has seen it so many times, she is no longer interested. Lele immediately pushed the things to him, gave him a thumbs up and praised him sweetly. "Sister, you're awesome. You are a good kid who takes good care of your brother. I will ask the teacher to praise you tomorrow." Suemo looked at him with great amusement and asked Lu Xiaolan, "Did you teach him?" Lu Xiaolan shook her head. "No. He went to see the big class himself." The big class would tell the older children every day to take care of their younger siblings and not to hit others. Many of the children in this compound are very naughty and will fight if they disagree with something. In the evening, Lele saw Suemo knitting a sweater and was very curious. She asked Suemo what she was doing. After learning that she was knitting sweaters for her grandparents, she asked for a sweater too. Suemo had prepared wool to knit a vest for each of the two children. After getting a positive answer, he happily went to play by himself. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye, and it was 1974. New Year's Day was on Tuesday, so there was no holiday, but when Sumo got off work, she still took out some things and the family had a simple celebration. On January 5th, Su Yichen's wife, Zhua Huiqin, gave birth to a boy. Su Tingda called to announce the good news. Su Mo and Mo Yurong quickly went to buy some things and sent them over. When Su Tingqian heard that it was a boy, he also sighed and said that it seemed rare for their Su family to have a girl. At the same time, he was a little proud because it seemed that all the girls in the Su family were on his side. The days passed like this, and after the New Year's Eve, something big suddenly happened. A certain monkey country sent a fleet northward, and on the 17th, it occupied 2 of our islands, killed and injured many of our fishermen and militiamen, and attacked patrol ships. Lu Chongzheng and his team received the order to set off that same day. This incident happened just before the New Year, and the entire family compound was shrouded in a tense atmosphere. Once the war escalates and both sides go to war, I'm afraid many people will be sacrificed. Those who have children and grandchildren on the front line will be even more worried. Su Tiqian thought that he could have a reunion dinner with his family this year, but he didn't expect that Lu Chongzheng would go out on a mission again just before the New Year. As the situation at the front became serious, Guangxi Province went directly into combat readiness. The 2 brothers Su Yichen and Su Yiyuan returned to the team directly. Although Su Tingda was able to go home, he did not dare to relax and was always on standby. As a soldier, the interests of the country are above everything else at all times. Su Mo was more worried than ever when Lu Chongzheng went out this time. After all, the 2 sides had already started a war, and once lethal weapons were used, human power would often be unable to compete. Fortunately, the battle did not last too long. A few days later, news of victory came that our country had won and recovered the 3 occupied islands. The special squad demonstrated its excellence in combat for the first time. It can be said that without the squad, the battle would not have ended so quickly. During the post-war report, the leaders heard about the special team's performance and ordered all military regions to train more of this type of troops. In this naval battle, the enemy suffered more than 100 casualties and 48 captured, including a senior general. Our country lost 18 people and 67 people were injured. Among these 18 people, 10 were fishermen and militiamen who were shot by the enemy in the early stage. The Yangqing military region also sent people to do work for these 10 people and gave them corresponding pensions. After the good news came, the family compound gradually began to feel the festive atmosphere, and more smiles appeared on everyone's faces. Su Mo also breathed a sigh of relief and started preparing things for the new year with Lu Xiaolan. The locals of Guangzhou celebrate the new year. They usually make fried dough sticks and sponge cakes. The folk customs in the south are more serious than those in the north. On New Year's Eve, people go to the ancestral temple to worship their ancestors. At this time, people cannot engage in feudal superstitions. So many people pay respect to their ancestors and elders at home. When you enter the local village, you can always smell the faint scent of incense and candles. The locals of Yangqing usually make some shrimp paste for cooking. Su Mo thought of going to the local villagers to exchange some so that everyone could try the new flavor during the new year, so she asked Lu Xiaolan to go along. As soon as Lu Xiaolan entered the village, she sniffed around. Third sister-in-law, do you smell anything? It seems like someone is burning something. Su Mo explained the southern customs to Lu Xiaolan. Lu Xiaolan nodded. There was nothing she could do about it. She could only remember the past secretly. In their place, even burning paper at the grave had to be done secretly. Su Mo found the home of the village production team leader and exchanged RMB for some shrimp paste, sponge cakes, and fried dough sticks. On New Year's Eve, in addition to Su Tingqian and his wife, Zhang Zhen and Xiaoding also came to the family compound to celebrate the new year. When Lu Changzhen was not at home, Lu Xiaolan went to sleep in Su Mo's room, temporarily giving her room to Zhang Zhen and Xiaoding. Su Mo went to the delicatessen market and bought many local specialties such as roast goose, roast duck, barbecued pork, and boiled chicken. She also made a lot of delicious food at home. The group of people celebrated their first New Year in Guangzhou in a lively manner. After dinner, the two children greeted their elders and received red envelopes. This year, Su Mo did not take the red envelopes, but made a small shoulder bag for each of the two children and let them keep them. At this time, some friends came to pay New Year's greetings. Su Mo gave each child who came to pay New Year's greetings a red envelope of 10 cents, and then let the two children follow the group to visit each family to pay New Year's greetings. It's not about how many red envelopes you can get, it's mainly about joining in the fun. As children, they just want to enjoy the atmosphere of the new year and have a lot of fun. Lele was very happy to go. Anan didn't want to go at first, but because he was afraid that his younger brother would be bullied, he went too. Sumo's family in Yangqing is bustling with activity, and the Su family in Country M is also preparing for the new year. China is half a day ahead of Country M, with a time difference of 12 hours. The evening in Guangzhou is the morning in San Francisco. Early in the morning, the servants of the Su family got up and started working. In the middle of the morning, cars arrived at the villa where Su Zhongqing lived one after another. After Su Zhongqing and his family arrived in Country M, they first settled in San Francisco. After they had established themselves here, as their business expanded, the eldest son Su Tingbang and his family moved to New York. The second son Su Tingyi and his family still lived with their old man in San Francisco, and the youngest son was an artist and often took his family around. Therefore, their family does not get together often. Only during important festivals will the children come back from all over the place, and the family will reunite. Lunch. Everyone talked about Su Jing's return to China. They had learned from the phone that Su Jing had found out the whereabouts of his relatives in China, but they had not asked in detail before. I didn't see anyone else. I only met Uncle Tingqian's daughter Su Mo at the trade fair. According to her, their family is doing well. They no longer live in Haisher, but have moved to Yangqing. Su Jing told everyone about his encounter with Su Mo, and it was not difficult to see from his words that he admired Su Mo. Brother, from what you said, that cousin is pretty cool. Su Tingley's son Sutsin said, do you have a photo? Let me see it. Sutsin is 18 years old and just started college. Yes, I gave it to Grandpa. Su Jing took 2 photos with Su Mo at the trade fair. Su Zhongqing waved his hand and asked the servant to bring the photo. Su Tsen was the first to receive it. After seeing it, she asked in surprise, Second brother, are you sure this was taken in China? Isn't it said that in China, life is very poor, everyone is pale and thin, and their clothes are very shabby, looking like poor people? He looked at this cousin and thought that she was no worse than the female stars in the M country. Su Tingley took the photo from Suits and looked at it and said, It seems that Tingqian has raised his child very well. He is worthy of being a member of my Su family. It was originally just a plain statement, but it instantly pierced the heart of Su Linwei, the adopted daughter of the Su family, because she was the only one at the table who is not a member of the Su family. Su Linwei's original name was Linwei. She is the niece of Su Tingbong's wife Lin Rudong. Back then, the Lins went abroad with the Sus. The Lins had no property left, and they relied almost entirely on the Sus. After arriving in country M, life was not easy at first. Coupled with the unfamiliar climate and other reasons, the Lins died of illness one after another, leaving behind only a 5-year-old daughter. Lin Rudong took her in to take care of her, and later simply considered her an adopted daughter, and Lin Wei became Su Lin Wei. After the Su family gained a firm foothold, she was known to the public as the eldest daughter of the Su family. When Lin Wei was little, she was very cute and sweet-mouthed, which made everyone in the Su family like her very much. The Su family had no daughters, so it was a rare opportunity for a little girl to come. Everyone spoiled her and thought of her when they had good things. When she was little, her pocket money was twice as much as that of the boys. When Su Tingbong's eldest son Su heard his uncle say this, he also became interested and took the photo. Lin Wei, who was sitting next to him, leaned over to take a look. In the photo, Su Mo has her hair tied in a high ponytail, wearing a white shirt and black pants. She is standing next to Su Jing, smiling generously, with a confident look on her face. Coupled with her outstanding appearance, even if she is wearing very ordinary clothes, she can't conceal her elegant temperament. There was a flash of jealousy in Lin Wei's eyes, but she quickly covered it up. "Is this my little cousin? She's so pretty," Lin Wei said. Lin Wei was cute when she was a child, but became very ordinary when she grew up. Now she looks pretty good, all thanks to the packaging of her clothes and jewelry. The Su family members are all good-looking, so Lin Wei feels a little inferior in front of them. Originally, she was the only girl in the younger generation of the Su family, and she didn't think it was a big deal. But now, there was suddenly someone who surpassed her not only in appearance but also in ability, which made her feel pressured instantly. When she was young, her mother instilled in her the idea that she must please the Su family. Over the years, she has always done well and is very favored in the Su family. She eats, wears, and spends better than the regular grandchildren of the Su family. Seeing how good Su Mo was, she was secretly afraid. She was afraid that Su Mo would overpower her and that the other people in the Su family would no longer like her. She had been in the Su family for so many years and knew very well that the Su family valued blood ties very much. She knew her own aunt even better. If she was of no use to her, she would probably abandon her without hesitation. She had been pampered for so many years that she couldn't imagine what would happen to her without the support of the Su family. She didn't want to go back to the shabby and cramped life she had as a child. She knew about Su Mo's existence before, but she was confident that she could beat a bumpkin who grew up in a backward country, so she didn't take it seriously at all. She had heard that Su Zhongqing had to send 500 yuan back home every year. She thought that her relatives in China relied on them for support, but now it seems that this is not the case. Yes, the child looks like her grandmother and is very pretty. Su Zhongqing's wife, Xiao Xiaoi, replied. But I think Grandma was prettier when she was young. Lin Wei flattered sweetly. You kid. I'm telling the truth. When my grandmother was young, she looked very noble. If I could be half as elegant as her, I would be satisfied. Xiao Xiaoi smiled. My Wei Wei is also very elegant. There is no bad child raised by my Su family. Why, someone said something about you. Lin Wei shook her head. No, it's just that my little cousin is so outstanding. Don't belittle yourself. She grew up in that kind of environment and received limited education. You were carefully trained by us, and you are no worse than others. Xiao Xiaoi comforted. Lin Rutong also started to comfort Lin Wei, and instantly the scene became one of a loving mother and a filial daughter. Su Jing looked at Lin Wei, who was acting up again, and curled his lips sarcastically. He used to love her very much, but after seeing her true colors a few times, he gradually distanced himself from her. Just treat it as a little toy to entertain everyone. If she dares to do anything that harms the interests of the Su family, he will definitely not forgive her. He can still clearly distinguish between those who are close and those who are distant. By Lin Wei, Everyone stopped talking about the Su family in China and started talking about the domestic business situation instead. When Su Tingyi went there last year, he went with others. They were not qualified to place orders and were just going through the motions. They did not understand the situation as thoroughly as Su Jing did. After listening to Su Jing's statement, Su Tingbang immediately said, "Dad, we will apply to participate in the trade fair next year. When the time comes, I will take Ah Su and Ah Jin with me." Su Zhongqing frowned and said, "There's no need to bring too many people. You and Ajin can go when the time comes." This eldest grandson is used to being flamboyant and not being steady enough in doing things. If he goes to China and gets into trouble, he will be in trouble if he is detained there. Su Zhongqing has always felt that his health has been getting worse over the years. He is looking for a successor among his children and grandchildren, and Su Jin is the one he is optimistic about. On the other side, the Liu family was also having the New Year's Eve dinner. This year, without Su Mo and the others, Li Yue always felt uncomfortable. Su Mo has obviously only spent 2 New Years here, and the third brother spent the New Year's like this before he got married. Why does it suddenly seem meaningless? After dinner, New Year's greetings and chatting for a while, Li Yue sent her children and grandchildren back home. Seeing her like that, Lu Qinggan asked, "Do you want to be happy? Then you go to the main group and wait there tomorrow. I think Xiaoma will call and wish us a happy new year tomorrow." Li Yue glared at him and said, "It's up to you to say it." Lu Qinggan. Ever since her 2 grandsons went to Guangzhou, this woman's temper has become more and more irritable. The first day of the Lunar New Year, Li Yue went to the brigade early. As expected, she received a call from the 2 little ones wishing a happy new year, which made Li Yue's eyes smile. The 2 kids finished talking. Su Mo greeted Li Yue again and told her about the New Year atmosphere here. Knowing that she missed the 2 little ones, but the journey was long and the mountains and rivers were far away, Su Mo did not dare to invite her to come. When they came here by themselves, they were also afraid of taking the train. Otherwise, the winter in the north is so long, you can definitely come to Guangzhou. After Lu Xiaolan finished talking to Li Yue, the family went shopping to experience the New Year atmosphere here. The 3-day annual leave passed quickly, and it was time to go back to work in the blink of an eye. Returning to the office, Su Mo received 2 pieces of bombshell news on the first day. One reason was that the center's leader was going to Beijing for a meeting in a few days, and he planned to let her be the trader representative and take her with him. Second, this year's spring fair will be held in the new hall on Luhua Road, and their offices will be moved there by the end of March at the latest. Su Mo is really like ice and fire. The good news is that she can meet the leader, which is really an honor. The sad news is that if she moves to the new club, she will have to travel a long way to get to work. The 5th day of the new year, Lu Chongjing also returned from the front line, but his face looked very heavy. After Su Mo asked, she learned that although their team won this time, 2 people were sacrificed. Not long after the team was formed, some people died. Lu Chongjing felt very upset and blamed himself. As the captain, he did not train his soldiers well. These days, he is communicating with his superiors to apply for approval of a place to build a special training ground for them so that they can carry out targeted training. Those 2 comrades both died while sneaking into the enemy ship. If they had received more training like this before, they might not have died. Su Mo saw Lu Chongjing's sadness and self-blame, but she couldn't say anything to comfort him. She could only silently support his decision behind his back. In the face of life, any language is pale. The 2 martyrs had come to my house for dinner. He was an optimistic and handsome young man, only 22 years old, not yet married. Such a vibrant life was gone in an instant. The grief of his relatives can be imagined. After returning, Lu Chongjing made the training of the team members more rigorous. He listed the scenarios they might face in the future, applied to the troops for scenario simulations, and conducted targeted training one by one. As the captain, he is responsible for the life of every team member and tries his best to bring back everyone he takes out intact every time. These people are the pioneers selected by the grassroots troops and then selected through layers of tests. The country has spent a lot of effort to train them, and every sacrifice is a huge loss to the country. So, after returning, Lu Changzheng became even busier. Not only did he go out early and come back late, but sometimes he was not seen for several days. Lele was a little surprised and asked Suemo, "Mom, aren't the bad guys this time very powerful?"
What? Sumontag was puzzled.
Before, when Dad went out, it took a long time to come back, but this time he came back very quickly. Before, when Lu Changzheng went out for training or on a mission, Suemo would tell the two kids that their father had gone out to fight the bad guys. So, in Lele's little worldview, Lu Changzheng disappeared for several days and came back again, and he went out to fight the bad guys, but this time the bad guys were not very powerful, and his father came back soon. After listening to Lele's explanation, Suemo laughed. It's not that the bad guys are not powerful anymore, it's that Dad and the others have become more powerful. Suemo established Lu Changzheng's image in front of Lele. Lele was obviously a little unconvinced and secretly asked Anan, "Sister, are Dad and the others very powerful?" "Yes, they are heroes." Anan gave an affirmative answer. Who is willing to use his or her flesh and blood to protect the people of one side deserves respect, regardless of his or her ability. She has liked this place more and has become more and more integrated into it. Although the life expectancy here is only 100 years and it looks very barren, she still thinks it is better than Kanglan Realm. Perhaps it was because she finally had a good life here. Her parents and relatives were all honest and kind people, and they were all very good to her. In mid-February, Suemo saw a special thank you letter in Science Bulletin. After the notice was republished, Suemo began to pay attention to agricultural papers. After understanding the current level, she combined the knowledge she had learned before with the current situation and wrote anonymous letters to several bigwigs from the Agricultural Research Institute. She had no idea whether these big guys would read it, so she could only cast a wide net and send it to more people. One of the senior researchers read her letter and adopted the method she suggested, which led to great progress in his research. Because Suemo sent the letter anonymously, the senior researcher didn't know who she was, so he attached a special thank you letter at the end of his published paper. In addition to his own signature, the paper was also signed by Anonymous Patriot. Suemo was also very happy after seeing this. At least her efforts were not in vain, and she could contribute to solving the country's food problem. When I was in Lujia village, although there was only one crop, the fertile black soil produced a high yield, so I didn't think the food problem was that serious. Now that I've moved to a big city in the south, I understand the difficulty of food. The south has 2 planting seasons. The land here is barren and the grain yield is very low, so it is normal to not have enough to eat. Many farmers eat sweet potatoes and cassava all year round and can only eat rice during festivals. Every month in the city is a very tiring job. If you have many children, you have to tighten your belt. What's more, China's industry was underdeveloped during this period, and it relied on exporting agricultural and sideline products in exchange for industrial equipment. The middle and late part of the month, Suemo followed the center's leaders and flew to Beijing to give a work report. After leaving the airport, Suemo clearly felt that the atmosphere in Beijing seemed more tense than when she first came here. On the plane, Yu Wenbin also told Suemo that Beijing is different from Guangzhou and asked her to be careful with her words and actions when she gets there and not to talk nonsense. A group of people were at the Ministry of Foreign Trade 2 days ago, reporting to the leaders there. Suemo, as a representative of the traders, also reported to the leaders her summary of trading experience, although she had already reported these things to the leaders in written form. On the 3rd day, a group of people went upstairs to make the final report. Suemo was very nervous. Her palms were sweating. The feeling of being able to meet the person she admired so much was indescribable. The leader was very kind. After listening to everyone's work reports, he chatted with everyone for a while and showed concern for everyone's lives. When asking Suemo, the leader suddenly said, "I know your grandfather. He is an admirable man. Your family is very good, and the country will not forget its meritorious people." It turned out that someone knew about the injustice her family had suffered. Yes, I will work hard and make greater contributions to the country. The leader smiled slightly and changed the subject elsewhere. Su Mo could understand the leader's difficulties. Their family was able to reach Yangcheng so smoothly, probably because of the leader's help. Su Mo and her group stayed in Beijing for only 4 days. On the morning of the 4th day, they flew back to Guangzhou. Arriving in Yangcheng, Su Mo felt that both her leader and Yi Wenbin breathed a sigh of relief. After all, the atmosphere in Beijing was really depressing. Those people started causing trouble everywhere again, so we have to be careful about what we say and do everywhere. The Foreign Trade Center was relatively stable with the care of the leaders, but it was also affected. In addition to the political study task that was previously twice a week being changed to once a day, it also received a large number of complaints from foreign businessmen. At the autumn fair last year, the delivery period was already tight, and because of this incident, the factory's productivity could not keep up and delivery could not be made on schedule. Naturally, the foreign businessmen were unwilling to do it. Some products are seasonal, so if they can't keep up with the sales, they will be sold at a big discount. The Foreign Trade Center can only try its best to coordinate and help the factory minimize the loss. After all, a contract has been signed and compensation must be paid if breach of contract occurs. Some factories that made a big fuss, instead of making any money, even lost money after paying the penalty for breach of contract, which greatly dampened their enthusiasm for export. The foreign trade situation had just opened up a little when it was hit again. That afternoon, Sumo was working when she suddenly received a call from Lu Xiaolan saying that the 2 children had fought with someone in the nursery and asked her to go home quickly. Lu Xiaolan is a teacher in the nursery school, and there are some things that are not suitable for her to be involved in. Su Mo was shocked and quickly asked Yi Wenbin for leave and rushed home. Su Mo was extremely worried all the way, thinking that the 2 kids were just beaten up. After all, no matter how smart they were only less than 2 years old, and their physical conditions were there. Su Mo rushed to the nursery office and saw the 2 little ones standing aside. Their hair was a little messy and their clothes were a little dusty, but they didn't seem to have any obvious injuries. "Enan Lulu, how are you? Are you hurt?" Su Mo quickly ran over and asked. "Humph. How could she be hurt? Our child is the one who got beaten." Su Mo looked in the direction of the sound and saw an old woman who looked to be in her 50s or 60s sitting on a stool holding a little boy. There were some bloodstains on the boy's clothes and his eyes were red, probably because he had been crying. For little boys nearby, all of them were dirty, and it was obvious that they had been rubbing against the ground, and they looked like they had been crying. The corner of Su Mo's mouth twitched. It seemed that the 2 kids were not the ones being beaten but the ones beating others. Su Mo ignored the old woman and asked the 2 little ones and Lulu, "Tell Mom what happened." "They stole my biscuits and wanted to beat me. I helped them, so they pulled my hair and beat me. I fought back, but they couldn't beat me, so I started crying," Lele said quickly. Su Mo quickly hugged Anan and pushed aside her messy hair. Sure enough, she saw some bloodstains at the roots of her hair. Su Mo felt distressed and angry, and her eyes turned cold in an instant. It's normal for children to fight, but you can't be too harsh. If you don't teach your 2 children well, they will sooner or later become a threat to society. The woman who spoke just now spoke again. Su Mo didn't like what she heard and refuted it immediately. "Auntie, you are wrong. My 2 children have been well behaved since they were young. No matter where they are, everyone praises them. I think it's your children who need to be taught. They are so young. Why don't they learn anything else? Why do they learn to be local tyrants, form cliques, and have several older children bully 2 younger children? They rob people of their belongings, and when they can't rob them, they beat them up. How is this different from bandits? How do they look like the descendants of soldiers?" The old woman. Her husband was the second in command of the military region and was usually very arrogant. The little boy she was holding was her grandson. He was a bully in the nursery and often bullied other children. The other parents tolerated it for the sake of the second in command, but this made the little boy even more domineering. He regarded himself as the king of the children in the nursery, and anyone who did not listen to him would be beaten by him. He even looked down on his teachers. Whenever anyone said anything about him, He would go and complain to his grandmother. His grandmother would then go to the nursery and make sarcastic remarks about the teachers, making it so that no teacher was brave enough to take care of him. Lu Xiaolan had told her about this little bully several times. Other parents may have to tolerate it for various reasons, but Su Mo cannot tolerate it. She just cannot allow her child to be bullied. The nursery's director, Mr. Hua, saw that the two parents were about to quarrel. He quickly spoke up and told them what had happened. The two little ones have been good-looking since they were young. Now that they have grown up, they can speak fluently. Lele, who loves to laugh and has a sweet mouth, has attracted the love of many children, both boys and girls. The children all love to play with Lele, and they will share their delicious food with Lele. Of course, Lele is also generous and will share his delicious food with his friends. Gradually, Lele started to become a bit like another leader among the kids. How could the little bullies stand it? Usually everyone was around him, and now Lele had taken away his attention, so he wanted to make trouble for Lele. But they were not in the same class, so they didn't meet often, and the teacher was watching them, so they just said a few words. It is normal for children to quarrel, and the teacher didn't take it too seriously. It happened that today the teachers were in a meeting, and only one teacher was left to look after the children. The teacher suddenly had to go to the toilet urgently. Thinking that it would only take a few minutes, he did not call other teachers out, but he did not expect that something bad would happen. The little bully took 4 little followers and prepared to teach Lele a lesson. Someone happened to give Lele a biscuit. Lele wanted to share it with Anan, so the 2 little guys hid in the corner to share the biscuit. The little bully saw Lele had a cookie. He immediately tried to grab it. Lele naturally refused to let him, so he started pushing him. The little bully asked others to beat Lele. When Anan saw his brother being beaten, he could not let him go and stepped forward to stop him. The little bully grabbed Anan's pigtail and pulled hard. Anan told him to let go several times, but he refused to let go. Anan then punched the little bully in the nose, and the little bully felt the pain and let go. But he still covered his nose and screamed for others to beat Anan to death. The other little followers let Lele go and started beating Anan. Although Anan had small arms and legs, he was no match for these little rascals. They knocked them to the ground and rubbed them in no time. The little bully saw that his nose was bleeding. He started crying. When the other little followers saw that they were knocked down, they also started crying. In an instant, the crying was deafening. The teachers thought something was wrong and hurried out. In that era, it was normal for children to fight, and it was not a big deal. The teacher stopped the nosebleed of the little bully, asked about the incident, and then criticized the little bully and others. The little bully saw that he was bleeding and being criticized. He immediately refused to do it and started to make a fuss, crying and shouting that he wanted to find his grandmother and ask her to avenge him. The teachers were so annoyed that they had no choice but to go find someone to help. Teacher Hu knew that the man was difficult to deal with and it was inappropriate for Lu Xiaolan to intervene in this matter, so she asked her to quickly call Su Mo and ask her to come back. Sure enough, after the second-in-command's wife arrived, even though Teacher Hu explained the whole story to her, she still refused to give up and said that she would ask the other parent to come and see how the other party taught their children. If it were another parent, his own child would have relied on his age to bully the younger children and would have been beaten up long ago. What's more, before they could even start bullying, 5 boys from the older class were beaten back by a girl from the younger class. It was too embarrassing to tell anyone about it. Anyone with any shame would have left with their children in disgrace. The wife of the second-in-command used to rely on her status, and others would give her some face. She was also used to being overbearing. Although her grandson was wrong, her grandson was no match for these wild monkeys. She had to vent her anger after being beaten and bleeding. Unexpectedly, he met a tough guy this time. He met Su Mo, who was not giving him face. He was so angry that his face turned black. When Su Mo heard that Lele was also beaten, she quickly lifted up his clothes to check. Sure enough, she found a lot of red marks on his body. She then lifted up Anan's clothes and found some red marks on his body as well.
How can you talk like that?
What kind of children doesn't play together? But you are making a big deal out of it. You hit someone and don't want to take responsibility, but you want to put the blame on them? the lady said. Su Emo sneered. Who was the first to make a big deal out of it? Have you ever heard of the saying that the first to provoke is the cheapest? As for who is putting the blame on others, everyone knows it in their hearts. Your grandson had a nosebleed, and I will not refuse to pay the medical expenses. But your grandson beat up my 2 children, and we have to settle this account too. What happened to your 2 children? They didn't cry or scream, and there was not even a scratch on their skin. My grandson had a lot of nose bleeding, and his nose was broken. Can you afford the compensation? My children didn't cry. That's because they are strong. It doesn't mean they are not hurt. Su Emo said angrily, Teacher Hua, come here and take a look. There is blood at the roots of an ant's hair. Both children have a lot of red marks on their bodies.
They must have been beaten a lot.
Teacher Hua was startled, and when he looked over, it was indeed the case. He immediately apologized to Su Emo guiltily. I'm sorry, Comrade Su Emo. It was our negligence. The 2 children didn't cry or make a fuss. They were so focused on the little bully that they didn't check to see if the children were injured. Lu Xiaolan had to comfort other frightened children at the time, and then hurried to call Su Emo. Later, Teacher Hua asked her not to intervene, and she didn't have time to take a closer look at the 2 little ones. Teacher Hua, I think we should take the children to the military hospital for a checkup. If there are any problems, I will pay every penny of the medical expenses. Su Emo was also afraid that the 2 children might be injured, so it was better to take them for a checkup. As for this lady, you don't have to pay for my family's medical expenses. But you have to ask your grandson to publicly apologize to our 2 children. The lady snorted coldly. What a joke. If there is any apology, it should be yours. My grandson had a nosebleed. Children's noses are so fragile. They must have been broken. I am already forgiving enough by not holding you responsible. Since we don't agree, let's report this to the army and have them send someone to investigate. Teacher Hua was shocked to see that the incident was going to be reported to the army, so he quickly tried to smooth things over. It's common for these kids to fight, and there's no need to make such a big fuss. Both sides are wrong, and they should apologize to each other. Su Zhengyu, come here and apologize to Lu Heian and Lu Yanhe. As a kid in the older class, you shouldn't bully the kids in the younger class. Su Zhengyu was the name of the little bully. Lu Heian Lu Yanhe also apologized to Su Zhengyu. You shouldn't have hit someone's nose and made it bleed. When he heard that he had to apologize, Su Zhengyu immediately started to make a scene. I did nothing wrong. I won't apologize. You are all bad people. I want my grandfather to kick you all out. After Su Emo heard this, she sneered. Teacher Hua, my children did nothing wrong. I won't ask them to apologize. It was Su Zhengyu who bullied others first, and the children were just fighting back. What's wrong with that? This is a question of stance, and we must not let them feel that it is wrong for them to fight back when they are bullied. Anan didn't hit him on the nose on purpose. He pulled Anan's hair, and Anan couldn't see, so he just swung his fist randomly and hit him on the nose. This Su Zhengyu is so young, but he has a vicious mind. He pulled the hair of a little girl who is less than 2 years old and made it bleed. Not only that, he also ordered others to attack 2 children who are less than 2 years old. He beat them to death and drove them out at will. How is this behavior different from that of a bully? We will never bow to evil forces. Not only will I report this to the army, I will also report it to my superiors under my real name. Deputy Political Commissar Su allowed Sun to commit the crime and condoned his family members to oppress the military family members. I want to see if there is no place for reason. Su Emo deliberately made the matter more serious. Some people will pop up from time to disgust you if you don't scare them at once. When Mrs. Su heard Su Emo say this, her expression changed. To put it more deeply, her grandson's case is indeed untenable. If someone really comes to investigate in depth, it may have some impact on old Su. After all, the situation is tense again. Teacher Hua quickly advised, Comrade Su Emo, this shouldn't be necessary. There's no need to escalate the issue of children fighting to adults. It is indeed Su Zhengyu's fault. Su Zhengyu, come here and apologize to Anan Lulu. Su Zhengyu was unwilling to do so, and immediately started to cry. No apology, no apology. Beat them to death, Grandma. Beat them to death, and let Grandpa kick them out. I'm bleeding, but they not bleeding. They're the ones who beat me, woo-woo. Teacher Hu looked at Su Mo and Mrs. Su in embarrassment. Both of them had cold faces and were obviously unwilling to back down. Mrs. Su was unsure, but she was used to being strong, and asking her to back down was almost the same as killing her. She didn't want to let her grandson down, and Zheng Yu did bleed. Just let the kids make a fuss and see if Su Mo will back down. At most, everyone will take a step back, and she doesn't want the two kids to apologize. Because of Lu Xiaolan, Teacher Hua and Su Mo were relatively familiar with each other, so she wanted to persuade Su Mo again. If this got out of hand, she, as the person in charge, would probably be punished. Teacher Hu began to persuade Su Mo, comrade Su Mo. Su Zhengyu did have a lot of nosebleeds, but Lulu was less seriously injured. How about we just let both sides make concessions and not apologize, and just let this matter go? Mrs. Su took the opportunity to say, okay, I'll give Teacher Hu some face and give in. You don't need to apologize. Even if the incident really reaches the army, we can still stand our ground. It was your daughter who broke my grandson's nose. There's no denying it. My Zhengyu has had poor health since he was a child. He lost so much blood. Su Mo sneered and was about to speak, but she heard An's childish voice coldly say, "It's just bleeding." After saying that, he clenched his fist and punched his nose. Instantly, 2 small streams of blood dripped down from his nose. Su Mo was startled and exclaimed, "Anan, what are you doing?" Then she quickly took out a handkerchief from her pocket to stop the bleeding. Lele was also terrified. She didn't cry at all when being beaten by several older kids, but she started to cry instantly.
Sister.
Su Mo saw 2 children, one bleeding and the other crying. Her eyes turned red, and she glared at Madame Su and said, "This is too much." Still crying, was also stunned by An's behavior. He was so scared that he stopped crying and just stared at it in a daze. How could someone hit herself? Wouldn't it hurt? Su Zhengyu is over 4 years old this year, and is at the age when he begins to understand things. Anan's action just now has been deeply engraved in his mind. He couldn't afford to offend this person. He didn't dare to offend him. Teacher Hu didn't expect things to turn out like this. She was shocked and stunned for a moment before quickly getting a wet towel to apply to Anan. It was then that she discovered that there were 2 officers standing at the gate of the yard, one old and one young. "2 leaders, is there anything I can help you with?" Teacher Hu asked quickly. As Teacher Hu spoke, Mrs. Su also looked outside. After seeing the person clearly, her expression instantly became unnatural. "Commander Su, why are you here?" Mrs. Su quickly stood up. "I was passing by here today and came to take a look," Commander Su said as he walked to the office and said to the young officer beside him, "Shall we go arrange 2 cars and take the children to the military hospital for a checkup?" Commander Su had actually been here for quite a while. He had been busy for several days, and today he came to the family compound to take a look as he thought of something. He happened to walk to the nursery, so he thought of coming over to see the children, but he didn't expect to see such a thing. "Deputy Political Commissar Su, you really should take good care of your family members." However, he really likes the little guy who dares to punch him. He is brave and tough. This person is definitely a good candidate for military service. If you train him well, he will definitely achieve great things in the future. Anan hit himself. He controlled the strength, and the bleeding stopped flowing after a short while. Commander Su walked straight up to Anan, squatted down and looked at her, trying his best to make his expression look kinder. It's just that the old man has been a tough guy all his life, and that aura has long been integrated into his bones and blood, so even though he has tried to relax his expression, he still looks very serious. If a normal child saw him so close to him, he would probably have cried out of fear. When Su Zhengyu and his 4 followers saw him come in, they huddled together like quails and dared not even breathe. "Does it hurt?" Commander Su asked. "It doesn't hurt. Why do you want to hit yourself? This way, Mom won't have to worry. He bled, and so did I, so we're even." "You think you're wrong?" "I'm not wrong," Anan said loudly. "He stole his brother's things and beat him up. He was the first to start, and he was a coward. He cried when he got hurt. He has no shame at all. Since you think you are right, then you should stick to it. There is no need to hurt yourself. If you get hurt, only your loved ones will feel the pain. No one else will feel the slightest bit. Do you understand? Anna nodded. I understand. When Madame Sue heard Commander Sue say this, her face suddenly turned bad. What did Commander Sue mean? Wasn't this equivalent to saying that it was her family's fault? Did you beat up all of them? He just eavesdropped outside and vaguely heard that it seemed that she beat all of them down.
Yes.
They hit me first. Mom said I was justified in fighting back. Commander Sue looked admiring. This little girl, who was half a head shorter than those little boys, was able to knock down everyone on her own, even when she was besieged. This was not only a matter of courage, but also required a certain level of vision and talent. Little girl, show me a few moves. Commander Sue stood up and stepped back a few steps. Anan looked up at Sue Mo, and when he saw her nod, he quickened his pace and performed a set of military boxing. Commander Sue's eyes lit up instantly. Although she only practiced a dozen moves and lacked strength, she performed well. This was very rare for a child of her age. Who taught you this punch? When my father beat me, I saw it and learned from him. Good, good, good. Commander Sue said good 3 times in a row. Commander Sue came from a family of martial artists and knew very well that some people were born martial arts geniuses. This little girl has such vision and talent at such a young age. She can learn to be like this by herself. With his guidance in the future, you will surely achieve great things. Commander Sue has never remarried since his wife and children died, and has been single ever since. His other brothers also died on the battlefield, and in order to prevent the family martial arts from being lost, he has taught many people in the army over the years, but none of them satisfied him. In his heart, he has already decided that Xiaonan is his successor. At this time, the car arranged by Xiao Li also arrived. Commander Sue walked over and picked up Anan, saying, "Let's go. Grandpa will take you to the hospital." Anan was not afraid at all. She pointed at Lulu, who was still crying, and said, "My brother." "Oh, yes." Commander Sue turned around, took Lele's hand, and the 3 of them walked towards the car first. Sue and Mo hurried to follow. Mrs. Sue looked at their backs with complicated eyes. How lucky were they to have Commander Sue's favor. I'm afraid I have to tell old Sue about this. Otherwise, it won't be resolved. Mrs. Sue picked up Su Zhengyu and went to the car. Teacher Hu also quickly took the other 4 children with him. Commander Sue held an and sat on the passenger seat. After Sue and Mo got in the car, she also held Lulu and sat him on her lap. Teacher Hu then arranged 2 other children into the car. In the car, Commander Sue chatted with An in a very casual manner. Your name is Anan, right? Yes, my full name is Lu Heian and my nickname is Anan. Anan, do you like practicing martial arts? Anan nodded. Then how about you learn martial arts from Grandpa in the future? You should ask your mother. Commander Sue was stunned and suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He saw a good seedling but was so busy kidnapping him that he even forgot to ask the other person's parents about it. Commander Sue turned to look at Sue Mo and asked awkwardly, "What is this comrade's name? Whose relative is he?" Sue Mo smiled and said, "My name is Sue Mo, and I'm a relative of Lu Chongjing." Commander Sue smiled. So they are the relatives of that kid, Lu Chongjing. No wonder. A good father will have a good daughter. I think this child has a good chance of learning martial arts. My family has a set of kung fu inherited from me. I want this child to learn from me. Do you agree? I mainly look at the child's opinion. If she agrees, I have no objection. Commander Sue looked at Anan again. Take your brother with you. Anan said. Lulu was still too weak, so he followed and learned. Moreover, Commander Sue is the most powerful commander in the military region. If they can establish this relationship, they will have less trouble in the future. Although she is not afraid of him, it is still annoying to see him jumping around in front of her from time to time. Anan is not a child. She knows the pros and cons very well. Why bother holding an umbrella by herself when there is a big tree to rely on? Commander Sue smiled. He was a loving brother who valued friendship and loyalty. Okay, take your brother with you. When the time comes, you two will learn martial arts from Grandpa, and you can't complain.
No.
Anan said firmly. She had suffered a lot, so learning martial arts was nothing. Lele was in the back seat, and his face almost wrinkled into a bitter melon when he heard how his sister arranged him. He doesn't particularly want to learn martial arts. Lele becomes a little withdrawn when he thinks that if he learns martial arts, he might become as ugly, black, as his father. The military hospital was not far from the family quarters, and we arrived there quickly. The chief came in person, and the hospital quickly arranged for 2 directors to examine the children. Children are not very strong, so basically nothing will happen to them. They are also tough, and will be fine after 2 days of rest. Anne's scalp was torn and bleeding, so the doctor disinfected it and told her not to wash her hair for 2 days. Also checked An and Su Jengyu's noses, and there was no major problem. They just needed to be careful over the next 2 days. Mrs. Su came over. She asked someone to notify Deputy Political Commissar Su. Deputy Political Commissar Su rushed over and was almost angry to death after hearing what happened. But now he was in the hospital and couldn't say anything, so he kissed Su Jengyu and pressed him to apologize to An and Lulu. Su Jengyu didn't cry or make a fuss, but apologized obediently. One reason was that An's punch on himself intimidated him. He was already afraid of An and naturally did not dare to provoke her. Second, he was afraid of Commander Su, who was watching him, so he didn't dare to act rashly. Sumo's purpose was to seek justice for the 2 kids and prevent Su Jengyu from bullying others at will in the future. She didn't really want to make a big fuss. Since the other party has already apologized, the matter is over. After checking and confirming that the children were all fine, Commander Su asked Xiao Li to arrange a car to take everyone back to the family compound, while he himself returned to the office. Before leaving, he told Su Mo that he would go back and make some arrangements. He would set a time and send someone to pick up the 2 little ones to study every day. He asked Su Mo to say hello to the nursery. Commander Su wanted to train An to be his successor, so that meant more than just learning martial arts. He had to be trained in all aspects. Therefore, he had to go back and think carefully about how to make the best arrangements. After all, this was his first time teaching such a young child. Since it concerned the future of her 2 children, Su Mo naturally agreed. When she got home, Lu Xiaolan had already returned from work, and she breathed a sigh of relief to see the 3 of them coming back. Third sister-in-law, how are you? Are you okay? Su Mo shook her head and asked Lu Xiaolan to give Lele a bath first, while she took An back to the room. Su Mo only brought it up with An once when she was still a baby, and she never asked again after that. She brought it up directly then because she was afraid that An would do something too unusual and others would notice something. Fortunately, An was relatively obedient. Although a little cold, she didn't do anything suspicious. But today, An's punch frightened her a little. She didn't know what An had experienced before, which made her so cruel to her without blinking an eye. So, she plans to talk to An today. After closing the door, Su Mo lowered her voice and said to An, can you tell Mom about your past life? An didn't answer, but lowered his head and remained silent. Su Mo waited for about 5 minutes, and when An didn't answer, she said, it's okay if you don't want to talk about it, but Mom wants to tell you that no matter what you've been through, it's all in the past. You have a new life now with so many relatives who love you, your parents, your brother, your aunt, your grandparents and great-grandfather in the north. Everyone loves you very much. So, you must take good care of yourself. There is a saying that goes, a mother feels pain when her son is hit. You just hit yourself, and it hurts your mother. You are still young, so just enjoy your childhood happily. It is your parents' responsibility to protect you, and you don't need to hurt yourself to bear the consequences. You are more sensible than your brother, so Mom asked you to take care of him, but that doesn't mean you should ignore your own safety. When there are things you can't solve, you must ask adults for help in time instead of fighting it yourself. Do you understand? You are still a child. There is no need to take on adult responsibilities too quickly. After Su Mo finished speaking, she heard that Lu Xiaolan seemed to have finished bathing Lele outside, so she prepared to go out. As soon as she stood up and spoke, I come from Kanglin realm. It's different from here. There is spiritual power there. People can absorb spiritual power to practice and make their lifespan longer. Suemo sat down again. So, you're a cultivator? And then looked up at Suemo. There was a hint of shock in her eyes, but then she was relieved. My mother herself has spiritual roots and can practice cultivation. I have guessed her origins early on. She is extraordinary, so it is normal for her to understand the Kanglan realm all at once. There are 3,000 big and small worlds. Maybe my mother is just like her, reincarnated here from other worlds, but still retains the memories of her previous life. Mom, you too? Suemo smiled and waved her hands. Well, my mother is in a similar situation to you. And Anne's admiration for Suemo deepened. No wonder she was reincarnated into her body. It turned out that they had similar experiences. I used to be known as the big devil in Kanglan realm. Are you afraid? Anan looked at Suemo with a barely perceptible panic in his eyes. Suemo raised her eyebrows. Anan was just a little irritable at the beginning, but he shouldn't be a demon, right? What's there to be afraid of? No matter how big a demon you are, you still have to call me Mom. But I see that you are not a qualified demon. Anan smiled, at first with a sense of relief, but then with irony about what happened in her previous life. Yes, people always follow what others say. My master and I were cultivating peacefully in the mountains, but those noble families accidentally learned that my master had a rare treasure, so they framed us for colluding with the demons. With the instigation of the noble families, we had no way to defend ourselves and were hunted down by many so-called righteous people. My master and I died tragically at their hands in order to protect me. Thinking of the past, Anan closed his eyes. The righteous people, they just wanted to kill people and steal treasures. Before his death, my master gave me a rare treasure. I accidentally got the treasure to recognize its master, and my cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. So I hid from place to place, practicing while avenging my master and senior brothers. When she killed more and more children from noble families, those families became afraid and began to describe her as a big evil, instigating those brainless people to hunt her down. What a pity. Heaven is on my side. Those noble families didn't kill me, but instead cut off my foundation. I used rare treasures to sneak into their treasuries, looted their generation's collections, and randomly threw them out in crowded cities, which really attracted thousands of people to scramble for them. Anan laughed. Those noble families wanted to take back their treasures, but how could the people who picked them up be willing? So, chaos broke out. I took advantage of the chaos and designed to kill all the original conspirators. Suemo felt a little distressed when she saw Anan like that, so she pulled her over and patted her on the back. Even though it was just a few words, I'm afraid only she knew the hardship involved. It is so difficult to fight against several noble families on your own. And then it's all over. From now on, you will just be Lu Heian. Yes, it's all over. She lived there gritting her teeth, just to avenge her master and senior brothers. Now that she had her revenge, she could rest. So, when those elders of the aristocratic families surrounded her and tried to kill her, she blew herself up and took them with her to death. She thought her soul would be torn apart, but unexpectedly, she could be reincarnated. She thought it must be because of that rare treasure. Suemo wanted to comfort Anan a few more times, but Lily's voice came from the door. Mom, sister, why are you hiding? Do you want to eat something delicious? Lele is now at the age where he is greedy. Anan turned around to open the door. Lila saw that and Anne's eyes seemed a little red and asked nervously, Sister, did Mom criticize you? Mom, don't criticize my sister. It's their fault. Mom didn't criticize my sister. She just had a headache. Suemo made an excuse. Sister, squat down and I'll give you a. It won't hurt anymore. When Lu Xiaolan heard that Anan had a headache, she hurried over and said to Suemo apologetically, Third sister-in-law, I'm sorry. I didn't take good care of them. Suemo waved her hands. It's not your fault. You were in a meeting, how could you take care of both? Besides, it can be considered a blessing in disguise. Commander Su has taken a liking to An and plans to teach her martial arts. Su Mo told Lu Xiaolan that Commander Su wanted to teach the two little ones. Lu Xiaolan was also extremely happy and thought about writing a letter back home to announce the good news. Working in the nursery, she met more military families and her horizons were broadened. And Lu was still so young, but she received personal instruction from Commander Su. Her future will definitely be good, scolded Mrs. Su severely. He remembered that his wife had suffered a lot with him when she was young, so as long as she didn't get too upset, he had turned a blind eye to it over the years. He didn't expect that she would become like this and even spoil her grandson. It seems that if we don't take good care of it, it will not work.
Commander Su is right.
The words and deeds of the family members also represent him. Don't let him be accused of condoning the family members to oppress the military family members. Su Zhengyu's mother came back and heard about it. She also scolded Su Zhengyu. She then took Su Zhengyu to Su Mo's house with her belongings, apologized to the two children again, and said that she would teach them well in the future. Su Mo saw that Su Zhengyu's mother did not seem to be an unreasonable person, so she briefly told her about Su Zhengyu's behavior in the nursery. While the child is young, his personality can still be changed. Once he is really set, it will be difficult to teach him. Most of the military district leaders were heroes who fought during the anti-Japanese war. After seeing too many second-generation rich people like my father is Li Gang in later generations, Su Mo did not want these heroes to be criticized because of their unfilial descendants. As for whether they listen or not, that is their business. Su Zhengyu's mother is also a soldier. She works as a civilian in the headquarters. She is very busy at ordinary times, and the children are basically taken care of by Mrs. Su. She had also heard about her son's domineering behavior, but she didn't expect it to be so serious. She had thought about teaching Su Zhengyu a lesson a few times before, but before she could do anything, her mother-in-law would argue with her. She was busy with work, and her mother-in-law was basically taking care of the child. She didn't dare to argue with anyone, and over time, she just stopped caring. It seems that we really have to ignore this child, lest he causes greater trouble in the future. After thanking Su Mo, Su Zhengyu's mother dragged him away. On the way, she also made a decision to give up the promotion and apply for a transfer to a lighter position so that she could have more time to accompany and educate her children. Commander Su has always been vigorous and decisive in his work. He came up with a plan in 3 days. That afternoon, he sent someone to pick up the two little ones to study. Children of this age are curious and willing to learn, and they learn very quickly. Commander Su plans to try teaching both cultural and martial arts classes at the same time to see if the children can accept it. Commander Su naturally couldn't teach these things himself, so he asked Shaoli to arrange it and teach the basics first. Shaoli first let the two kids do horse dance for half an hour, and had no problem, but Lele grimaced. However, he didn't cry or refuse. Even if he fell down, he quickly stood up and continued. Shaoli watched from the side and nodded silently. It was great that such a young child could have such concentration. This was the first step. After doing the horse dance, Shaoli taught the two kids a few basic moves and asked them to practice. After practicing for half an hour, he stopped. It's only the first day, so don't practice too hard to avoid scaring the child. If he doesn't come the next day, he won't be able to explain to the leader. After martial arts training, Shaoli gave the two children cultural classes, thinking to start with counting. As a result, he found that the two children could actually do it. When asked, it turned out that their mother had taught them a long time ago, and the two children had no problem with addition and subtraction within 100. Shaoli was a little confused. Are kids nowadays so smart? What a genius this is. Sure enough, the leader is the leader, and he has a really sharp eye. After Shaoli reported the matter to Commander Su also laughed out loud. This was really a treasure for him, so he instructed Shaoli to increase the cultural courses appropriately. Early March, the office of the Foreign Trade Center officially moved to the new exhibition hall, and Su Mo had to travel farther to work. If she rode a bicycle, it would take about an hour and a half. So, Su Mo changed to taking a tricycle to work. Even if she took a tricycle, she had to cross 2 substations. A trip at each substation cost 1.5 cents, and the round-trip fare for the day was 60 cents. For that month, the fare alone was 15.6 yuan. The company could allocate an apartment nearby to Su Mo, but considering her children's studies, Su Mo decided to continue living in the staff quarters, even though the transportation fee might be a little more expensive. Mid-March, Su Tingda came to Yangqing for a meeting and brought two pieces of news to Su Mo. The first piece of news was that Geng Chongqing had been promoted from Secretary of the Qingxi County Party Committee to Deputy Secretary of Shuangshan City. Secretary Tsin would be transferred back to Beijing at the end of the year, and Geng Chongqing would take over as Secretary of Shuangshan City at that time. Su Mo was happy for Geng Chongqing from the bottom of her heart. He was indeed a good official who served the country and the people and was capable. The second piece of news was that Gong Yi and Yang Suyun were married. Since Su Mo reminded him last time, Su Tingda also began to pay attention to Gong Yi. Unexpectedly, Gong Yi was actually involved with Yang Suyun and got married. After Su Mo heard this, she was a little surprised, but she also felt that it was as she expected. The plot still played a role, and the two finally got married. I just don't know how powerful this force is, so please don't come to her house to be cannon fodder again. Given the Yang family situation, is the Gong family willing to marry her? I heard that a man and a woman were caught in the act of being alone in a room together. Su Tingda sneered. After Yang Suang was suspended from his post, he happened to go back to the countryside to see Yang Shuren. He and the Yang family instigated the villagers to put pressure on the Gong family, and under pressure, they had no choice but to marry him. After Su Mo reminded him, Su Tingda asked people to keep an eye on Yang Suang. At first, Yang Suang was quite cautious and did not find any opportunity. After a few months, Yang Suang saw that the Su family had not made any further moves, so he began to relax. Coincidentally, at this time, Yang Suyun wrote again, saying that she and Gong Yi were dating. Although the Gong family was not as famous as the Su family before, it was also a big family. What's more, all the members of the Gong family are cadres now. Such conditions are not something that ordinary people can achieve. After receiving the letter, Yang Suang and his mother were very happy. They immediately sent money to Yang Suyun and sent a telegram, asking her to get along well with others. Once Yang Suyun and Gong Yi get married, their Yang family will rise again, so why would they be afraid of the Su family? As a result, Yang Suang became a little arrogant. One mistake caused the factory to lose tens of thousands of yuan. Although he made up for most of the loss through hard work later, he was still given a serious warning and suspended from work. Director Zhong was completely disappointed with Yang Suang and did not help him, so he just let him be suspended. Yang Suang was not in a hurry. He simply went back to the countryside under the pretext of visiting his father, ready to help Yang Suyun take down Gong Yi. As long as he marries into the Gong family, he can return to his job at any time. However, Yang Suhong's wishful thinking was wrong. How could Gong Ming, an old fox, not see Yang Suhong's plan? At the beginning, when Gong Yi wrote to say that he had a girlfriend in the countryside, he didn't object, but only told him to get to know her well first. Be careful about the situation and not rush into marriage. His side is not very good. If his grandson finds someone from the countryside and gives the appearance of being rooted in the grassroots, it can reduce the attention of those people. Thanks to Su Tingda's reminder, the superiors also discovered Gong Ming's intention. Gong Ming has not had a good time during this period, and they did not kick him out in order to keep him around to lure him out. The reason they dragged Gong Ming into this was to steal information through him. Now that everyone is on guard, Gong Ming can only get limited information, and it is all irrelevant, and there is no core information at all. They thought Gong Ming was pretending to surrender and was just trying to be nice to them, so they kept putting pressure on him. Gong Ming was also extremely anxious. He sensed something was wrong. Everyone must be suspicious of him, and were starting to be on guard against him. Gong Ming is also an old fox. After thinking deeply, he knew that the problem was with Su Tingda. He was afraid that the other party had suspected him since Gong Ye's accident. But where did he reveal his flaws? He always thought that Su Zhongli's two sons had average abilities and were somewhat respectable only because he had paved the way for them in advance and they relied on his protection. Now it seems that he was wrong. Su Tingqian is not to be mentioned. Su Tingde still has some ability. It's just that he has been overshadowed by his father's halo and has not been obvious. Gong Ming has always regarded Su Zhongli as both a confidant and an opponent. Originally, according to the Su family's background, after the founding of the People's Republic of China, he would either move away with his family like his brother Su Zhongqing or be overthrown like most capitalists, and his social status would move from the upper class to the lower class. But Su Zhongli, by his own efforts, managed to preserve the status of the Su family and also kept many tricks up his sleeve. Even in the current environment, the Su family still lives better than most people. If he hadn't been tricked and given a push, Su Tingqian's family would probably still be living well in the villa now. He also didn't expect that Su Tingqian would escape safely and return to the city successfully less than a year after being demoted. Although he didn't return to Haisher, he also went to Yangqing. The political environment in Guangzhou is much better than that in Haisher. Haisher has almost become a paradise for those people. Gong Ming had to admit that he was not as good as Su Zhongli after all. Even if one has been dead for many years, the plans he leaves behind are enough for his descendants to use for a lifetime. But too much wisdom is harmful to one's health. It's no wonder that he passed away in his 50s after spending so much time planning. Gong Ming has been struggling with whether or not to break off relations with his Su family directly. He is not afraid of Su Tingde, but of the backup plan left by Su Zhongli. Just then, Gong Yi called and said he wanted to get married. Also at this time that he found out that the country girl was actually Yang Shuren's daughter. After Gong Ming found out, he was furious. He didn't expect that he would be defeated by a small person. But since things have come to this, he could only let the two get married. There is no need to worry about it. Once this marriage is concluded, you will have a falling out with the Su family. However, the Yang family can forget about trying to gain benefits from the Gong family. Mid-March, Lu Chongzheng led the team back from training in another place. After Lu Chongzheng came back, he saw that the two little ones had been taken away by the commander to study. After asking the reason, this man, who didn't even make a sound when he was shot, hugged the two little ones with tears in his eyes. It is really difficult to be both loyal and filial. He put all his energy into work and neglected his wife, children, and parents, so they had to bear the hardship by themselves. As for his parents, they had their two brothers by their side if they needed help, but his wife and children really had to rely on themselves. But if he doesn't go all out, how can he explain to the motherland that nurtured him? How can he explain to the relatives of his brothers? How can he explain to the people behind him? But we can't just let it go. Lu Chongzheng naturally would not cause trouble for the child, so he found Su Zhengyu's father and beat him up in the name of sparring. Su Zhengyu's father was also in the frontline troops and was usually not in Yangqing.
He came back for a meeting this time.
He had heard about the special team and was very happy to see Lu Chongzheng wanted to compete with him. He thought he was being favored and might even be recruited into the team. As happy as Mr. Su was before the competition, he was devastated after it. He was beaten so hard that his confidence almost collapsed. Between soldiers? He finally understood that Captain Lu not only had a crush on him, but was also using the excuse of sparring to teach him a lesson. But he thought about it and didn't know how he had offended this evil spirit. He and him had never met before. Father Su returned home with a bruised face and nose. He told his wife what happened and asked her to help analyze the matter to see if he had offended anyone unintentionally. If this wasn't the case and Lu Chongzheng beat him for no reason, he wouldn't be someone to be trifled with. When Su's mother heard this, she understood immediately and sold Su Zhengyu out immediately. She had been teaching her child for a while, but her mother-in-law always stopped her from doing so. She had been very angry for a long time, and her husband happened to come back, so she asked him to punish her son. When Mr. Su heard this, he was almost furious. It turned out that he was beaten because of this naughty child. They immediately pulled Su Zhengyu out and beat him up. Su Zhengyu's cries could be heard by most of the family compound. This trade fair was held in the new hall, which covers an area of 98,000 square meters and has a construction area of 115,000 square meters. At that time, it was a very grand venue. New pavilion, although there were some twists and turns due to certain reasons, with the joint efforts of the leaders and all the employees of the Foreign Trade Center, the number of exhibitors and foreign businessmen invited to this exhibition was the highest in history. During the trade fair, a large number of people from all walks of life poured into Guangzhou, which was a rare opportunity for training. Liu Chongzheng took the opportunity to disperse the members of the special team and disguise them as various staff members, lurking among them, cooperating with the trade fair to discover and capture enemy spies, and conducting observation training by the way. Each trading group still arrived in Guangzhou 20 days in advance, first participated in 10 days of political study, and then entered the venue to set up the exhibition. The new exhibition hall covers a vast area, and the exhibition areas allocated to each manufacturer are much larger than before. The salesmen of each manufacturer really showed their talents and tried their best to decorate their own exhibition areas to be more eye-catching. The exhibition area was a step up from the previous ones. Suemo looked at it and saw that it was not much different except for the lack of the gorgeous KT background boards of later generations. Instead, it was easier to highlight the products themselves. Textile exhibition, wine exhibition area. Su Tingqian and his wife also knew that their daughter was very busy at work during the exhibition, so during this period, she would live in the family compound after work to help take care of the two little ones. On April 15th, the trade fair closed successfully. Although the scale of this trade fair is larger than the previous ones, due to various problems in the past, many foreign businessmen dare not place large orders, so the transaction volume has not made a big breakthrough compared with last autumn's trade fair. The trade fair ended, manufacturers began to withdraw their booths one after another. It is also troublesome to transport the products back and forth, so this year the center leaders applied to the higher authorities to leave a sales area open to the people of Guangzhou after the exhibition, so that manufacturers who do not want to ship the samples back can sell them here at a discount without invoice. The exhibition hall is definitely a high-end place for the people of Guangzhou. Usually they can only look at the exterior and have never been inside. When they heard that they could not only enter the market but also buy export products at a low price and without tickets, word spread quickly, and on the first day of the sale, more people came than at the opening of the trade fair. We originally planned to give the manufacturers 2 days to sell their products, but they were sold out in less than a day. Of domestic people should not be underestimated. Normally, they cannot buy things without tickets, but once something appears that does not require tickets and is cheap, it will sell very quickly. As internal staff, they naturally have some benefits, and they are given priority in purchasing these things for sale. Su Mo heard that the High City Radio Factory did not plan to ship back some televisions, so she hurried to ask the price. The two children followed Commander Su to learn. Commander Su would take them to his house for dinner when he got off work early. Commander Su's house was equipped with a TV, and Lele was particularly curious after watching it, and often wanted to watch it. Television stations began to resume broadcasting in 1973, and some programs are still available to watch. Sumo thought about buying one too, so that the two little ones wouldn't have to run to Commander Su's house from time to time and disturb their leader's work. Yangcheng Department Store also sells TV sets, 479 yuan each plus a TV ticket. Qian Sumo can afford it, but it's hard to get a TV ticket. Only high-ranking officials will occasionally give one. Now that I have this opportunity, I hurried to ask. The director of the radio factory saw that it was Su Mo who asked, so he made the decision and sold it to her for 450 yuan. After all, it had been displayed in the exhibition area for a month, so it was considered used, so he gave her a discount of 29 yuan. Su Mo quickly took out money to buy it. The ones that can be sent to the exhibition are all the latest models, and the quality must have been carefully selected. If you buy them in China, you probably have to get a reservation ticket and queue up. After all, most TVs now have 12-inch monitors, and the one Su Mo bought has a 14-inch monitor. 14-inch Feiyue black and white TV. In addition to buying a TV, Su Mo also bought a lot of wine, especially a certain one, which she stockpiled and could use as gifts later, which would be very decent. After Su Mo brought the TV home, Lele was so happy to see it that he couldn't stop talking and kept saying nice things. Mom is the best. Mom is the greatest. I love Mom the most. Su Mo couldn't stop laughing when she heard this.
She didn't know who this guy looked like.
After praising Su Mo, Lele squatted at the gate of the yard waiting for Lu Chongjing to come back. After his father installed the antenna, he could watch TV. During this period, technology was limited, and the signal was not good. Televisions were equipped with a special receiver that had to be installed in an open and high position outdoors in order to receive television signals. Outdoor TV receiving antenna. After Lu Chongjing came back, Lele patted his shoulder for a minute and then urged him to install the antenna. Lu Chongjing took a bamboo pole, installed the antenna on it, and climbed onto the roof to find a location. Su Mo and Lu Xiaolan were watching in the living room. When the picture came out, they asked towards the yard how clear it was, and Lele immediately conveyed the message loudly to Lu Chongjing. Although Lele is small, his voice is very loud and soon attracted all the children nearby. They gathered in the yard, waiting eagerly for the sound to be adjusted so that they could watch TV. Televisions were a rarity these days, even in the military family's quarters. Only the homes of important leaders had televisions, and ordinary children didn't dare to go to those places to watch them. In less than half an hour, Lu Chongjing found the location and fixed the antenna pole. There were only 2 or 3 stations, one in Guangdong province, one in Beijing, and one in Hai City. At this time, there was no CCTV, and Beijing City TV played the role of CCTV. Basically, every big city could receive Beijing City TV. Hai City, as an industrial center during this period, had a very good TV station, second only to Beijing City, and most big cities could receive it. After confirming that they could watch, the children rushed into the living room, sitting or standing, watching TV with great interest. The Beijing TV station was currently showing the first TV series broadcast in 1958, A Bite of Vegetable Pancake. The Cultural Revolution, the television and film industries were almost at a standstill, and all that was broadcast were previous stock and the 8 model operas. Su Mo took a look at it, but couldn't take it in. For her, who had been exposed to the prosperous television culture, this was too childish. Su Mo didn't care and let them watch. She went to eat with Lu Xiaolan and Lu Chongjing first. Lu Xiaolan also wanted to watch TV, so she quickly finished her meal in a few mouthfuls, filled 2 small bowls with rice, and said she was going to feed the 2 little ones, then hurried to the living room. After dinner, Lu Chongjing went outside to wash the dishes. They set up a stage in the yard, and those who washed dishes and clothes were outside. Wang Suimei was peeking out of her yard. When she saw Lu Chongjing coming out, she asked, "Captain Lu, where did you buy the TV? You really wanted to spend so much money on it." Nearly $500, and she couldn't bear to part with it. And she heard that this thing consumed a lot of electricity. "My wife bought it at her workplace," Lu Chongjing said as he washed the dishes. "What? Isn't your wife in the Foreign Trade Center? Why are you selling things?" The exhibition was over and the manufacturer didn't take the samples back, so my wife bought some. "Is there such a good thing? What is there? I will go and take a look tomorrow. I heard that they are all sold out today. Sister-in-law, you can only go to see it in the fall." "Oh, what a pity." Wang Suimei slapped her thigh. Seeing Lu Chongjing finish washing the dishes and go back in, she secretly sighed that Captain Lu is really a good man. He even washes the dishes. In her family, he didn't even help when the oil bottle fell over. After Su Mo finished her bath and came out to wash clothes, she saw Wang Suimei leaning over to look at her, so she said, "Sister Wang, can you see it with your head leaning over like this? Come over to the living room and sit and watch." Wang Suimei was a little embarrassed. "Will this bother you?" Su Mo smiled and said, "It's okay, there are many children. Then I'll go over there," Wang Suimei said, and hurried home to move a chair over. Her husband told her to disturb others less, and she didn't dare to visit them all the time. But now it was others who asked her to go over, not her who was disturbing them. Wang Suimei came over. She smiled at Su Mo and went into the living room to watch TV. Su Mo actually had a good impression of Wang Suimei. Although she was not well educated, she was quite enthusiastic. She liked her more than her husband Zheng Guosheng. Zheng Guosheng looked gentle and polite on the outside, but Su Imo often heard him scolding Wang Suimei and the three children. Su Imo particularly dislikes people who are nice to outsiders but bad-tempered at home. The television stations at that time were not like those in later generations, where programs were broadcast 24 hours a day and ended around 9 o'clock in the evening. After the signal switched to the test card, the adults and children watching TV left reluctantly. Who came over to watch their children who had not returned home also joined the group watching TV. In the end, there was a group of people standing in the living room. Watching TV in the 1970s, Su Imo speculated that her living room would be popular for a while, at least in the future, before people's novelty about television wears off. The facts were just as she had guessed. After dinner every day, family members would bring their children to watch TV, and the living room would be full of people. It was not until half a month later that another family bought a TV, and some of the people were diverted over. In the following 2 months, 2 or 3 more families bought televisions, and the number of people watching TV decreased. However, Wang Suimei and her 3 children came to watch TV every day. But Wang Suimei's watching was not in vain. She didn't have a job and stayed at home every day. Seeing that Su Mo and Lu Xiaolan had to go to work, she helped Su Mo water the vegetables every day. In her words, it only took her a few minutes to water that small piece of land. However, she was also muttering while watering them. Even though she was watering the same vegetables, those from Su Mo's family grew better than hers. She looked around and finally could only come to this conclusion. Su Mo's family were all good-looking, so the vegetables should naturally look like them and grow better. July 1st is the two little ones' second birthday. It is actually not popular to celebrate birthdays during this period. Last year, Su Imo celebrated her first birthday. This year, she is not planning to do anything to avoid being too high-profile. But Commander Su said he would come over for dinner tonight, so Su Imo took an afternoon off and went to the market to buy a lot of vegetables. Commander Su took such good care of the 2 children, so she couldn't do anything else for the time being, but she could still make a delicious meal. When Su Imo got home, she started to get busy. When Su Yuan came back and saw Su Imo was busy, he also came to help. Su Yuan came a few days ago. He happened to be on vacation and said he came to Yangqing to see the children. But Su Imo looked at him and felt that he must have come to Yangqing to avoid something. The chicken and mushrooms on the coal stove. Su Imo cut vegetables while preparing to chat with Su Yuan. Second brother, are you worried about something? Su Yuan paused, then smiled and said, No, my second brother doesn't have any worries. Really? But I think my second brother seems to be worried these days. The second brother I know is always carefree and happy. Su Yuan was silent for a while, then asked, Little sister, if I don't join the army, do you agree? I agree. There are so many professions. Which one of them can't contribute to the motherland? You don't have to be a soldier. Su Yuan has a more eccentric personality. The army is a very serious place. He must be uncomfortable there. Hearing Su Imo say this, Su Yuan's eyes lit up. Really? Why would I lie to you? Then can you help me persuade my dad? Su Yuan said, and told Su Imo the general situation. After Su Yuan was transferred to Guangxi province, his direct supervisor happened to be Su Tingda's opponent, so he was often targeted. Su Yuan's character was not one that could tolerate, so he could not help but resist, so he caused a lot of trouble. Over time, it becomes a vicious cycle, and the two of them start to argue. You can imagine how hard it is to have a leader who is always against you. Su Tingda had thought about transferring Su Yuan, but he was always blocked by his opponents and had not succeeded. Su Yuan was still only a company commander, and a transfer at this level would not be easy to bring to the attention of the leaders if he had not made any special contributions, so it had been stuck. Su Yuan had never been very enthusiastic about joining the army. It was because of the movement that he could not go to college, so he had to join the army and took the attitude of just hanging on for the time being. Therefore, Su Yuan's promotion speed is very slow compared to Su Yichen. The brothers are only 3 years apart in age. Su Yichen was already the regiment commander 3 years ago. In another year or two, he may be promoted again. However, Su Yun is still a company commander. Su Tingda was very dissatisfied with this and thought his youngest son was too casual. So, this time when she heard Su Yun say that he wanted to change his career, she was furious, scolded him severely, and almost wanted to kick him out of the house. Little sister, I really don't want to be a soldier anymore. I've already found out everything. There's a food factory in our area that specializes in making biscuits. The factory director was arrested a while ago, and the higher-ups decided to select a retired soldier to take over. Little sister, to be honest, I really like doing business. If I change my career and my dad helps me run the business, I will have a good chance of getting the job. The factory's performance has not been good, but it's actually due to human factors. If I go, I have the confidence to make it a success. Sumo's eyes lit up when she heard Su Yun say this. Her second brother likes to do business, so she can bring him along to do it. It would be even better if her second brother could go to the food factory so that he can get familiar with the factory's operations in advance. Okay, I'll help you write a letter to persuade your uncle. But your uncle may not listen to you. I think you still need to work harder on your aunt. Su Mo gave him advice. My aunt is so open-minded. As long as you explain it to her clearly, she won't disagree. The three of them, father and son, are all in the army. Fu Manhua is actually very worried. If one of them can be transferred to the rear, she should be happy. Su Mo gave Su Yun a lot of advice, and Su Yun was very happy after listening to her. He should have told his younger sister earlier. So, why does he love his younger sister so much?